Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
It is the final game of this opening homestand. Today, the Tigers host the Minnesota Twins. And what an opening week it has been in Comerica Park. The Tigers won the series against the Boston Red Sox, winning 3 of 4 games. They've already beaten the Twins twice this week, and today they are primed to sweep the series. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pebble alongside Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us for the final game of this series. And what a homestand it's been, Rod. You probably can't write a better script than what we've seen this first week.
You know, what you want to accomplish when you play a baseball season, you want to win series at home, you want to split on the road. The Tigers have been fortunate enough to win both of these series, once against the Boston Red Sox, and they've also won the first 2 meetings against Minnesota.
All right, now J.D. Martinez goes down in spring training. That opened up opportunities for other guys, namely Andrew Romine, and yesterday the big story, Andrew Romine.
Romine had a chance in spring training to find his stroke because of the World Baseball Classic. He got more at-bats than he'd ever gotten in his life, and he has carried that into the regular season. He's off to a torrid start, whether he's batting left-handed or right-handed. And yesterday, the big story, a grand slam, the first career grand slam, first extra base hit for Romine with the bases loaded and the bench erupted. What a wonderful win yesterday. And you root for a guy like Andrew Romine, who is one of those guys, he's part of the glue of this team. He plays on the bench. He plays every single position. And if he continues to perform like he's performing, Brad's going to find ways to get him into that lineup a lot more often, because you can rest your regulars when you've got a guy hot as Romine is right now.
Hopefully more fun at the ballpark here today. After a short break, we'll send you back down to the Call Sam Studios and John Keating coming up in this one here this afternoon. How about a sweep? The Tigers 1 win away from sweeping the Twins out of town. Stay with us. Tigers Twins next on Fox Sports Detroit.
Today, 2016 was a year to forget. Bill Hughes took a batted ball off his leg. It was fractured. Then he had rib surgery. Jordan Zimmerman only pitched 9 2/3 innings after June 30th because of a lingering neck issue. Each of them has one start already in 2017, and for each of them it went okay. 6 innings pitched and a run allowed as we welcome you back inside the Call Sam studio. But each of them, of course, trying to keep the ball in the ballpark, because as always, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more homers in today's game, you're invited to bring in a copy of the Box Score 20 participating Arby's location tomorrow and receive a free small order of curly fries. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. And get great deals on the Chrysler lineup at the Chrysler Spring Clearance event. Game time coming up.
Hoodie kind of day here this afternoon. We check out the field conditions presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. It is a crisp 47 degrees at game time here this afternoon. Cloudy and overcast, so not much sunshine at the ballpark, and all the folks are bundled up here today, whether it's with the jacket, the hats, the ski masks. Everything can be used today. There's Brian Dozier. He'll be leading things off for these Minnesota Twins. Tigers have won the first 2 from the Twins. Their starting lineup today presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Dozier, Grossman, Mauer at the top. Sano in the middle along with Kepler and Polanco. And Jimenez, Rosario, and Buxton, who's off to a very slow start this year. Tigers right-hander Jordan Zimmerman, presented today by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Well, expect the Minnesota Twins to be early and often with their swings today against Zimmerman. He's always had great command. In his opening start of the year, he got the win against the Boston Red Sox. Fastball gets up to 93. Also a real good changeup, curveball, and a slider, part of his 4-pitch mix.
Here we go. The first ball is grounded foul down the third base line. Dozier homered in the ball game yesterday to lead things off. His first home run of the year, and batting .219 on the new campaign.
And Zimmerman said that he really didn't have his 2 breaking pitches in his opening outing of the season against Boston. Couldn't get a feel for his curve or his slider.
Hammered to left field. That'll drop. Base hit.
He's going to have to get that fastball down at 91, especially against Dozier.
Dozier's second hit of the series. That'll bring up Robbie Grossman. Tigers a 5-3 winner in the ball game yesterday after winning the opener 2-1. So really a couple of tight ball games against this Minnesota team, Rod, that came in playing some surprisingly pretty good baseball.
Well, both teams are pitching well. Unfortunately for Minnesota, their offense hasn't showed up in the series. Therefore, the Tigers have been able to take the first 2 contests. But Minnesota has pitched well enough to win.
Well, they certainly have the first 2 games. Grossman is batting in the DH spot, number 2 in the lineup. Here's Michael Fulmer chilling today, literally, but he was good yesterday.
How about the adjustment that Michael Fulmer made yesterday? Innings 1 through 3, he really struggled with his command on his fastballs, his changeups, and his slider. Innings 4 through 6, he just dealt.
Not surprising, is it, with the maturity that he has, he was able to make that adjustment?
I agree with that. I mean, he is well mature beyond his years.
Grossman waits on the 1-0. 1 ball and 1 strike.
If you're the Minnesota Twins, you know that Zimmerman's going to be around the plate. Of all active pitchers right now with a minimum of 1,000 innings pitched in the big leagues, he's at top of the list with walks per 9 innings. Just 1.85 walks per 9 innings for Jordan Zimmerman. So nice. You can always be aggressive against him.
Runner goes. Here comes McCann's throw. It is a little bit high and a stolen base for Dozier.
Zimmerman with the high leg kick, and he was a little slow getting that ball to James McCann. And even though James McCann has one of the better throwing arms in the big leagues, with the jump that Dozier got and the high throw by McCann because he had to rush the throw, Iglesias not able to apply the tag.
Dozier is now 4 for 4 this year in stolen base attempts. He stole 18 last year and was caught only twice. Here's the 2-1. In the air toward left field, slicing away from Upton. And he'll go to the corner and get there. Leonard tagging but holding.
That's a nice job by Justin Upton in the outfield, anticipating that Dozier might tag up. Let's slide in the rest of the Tigers defensive alignment. You know Jay Ups in left, as he always is. In center field, you've got the youngster Jacoby Jones. You've got Tyler Collins. He is back out in right. Iglesias, Romine up the middle. Nicholas Castellanos and Miguel Cabrera on the corners, and James McCann is the catcher.
How versatile is Romine? Well, he was out in center field yesterday. He's at second base today. And it really doesn't matter where you put him. He'll play everywhere on the field. Has yet to catch in a big league game. Here's Joe Mauer.
You can throw it right down the middle to Joe Mauer, and more than likely he'll take it.
Strike 1.
He takes 95% of first pitches.
Why is that? In your estimation as a hitter, what is the advantage to doing that?
Well, because he has a lot of confidence in that he's going to be able to put the ball in play. That's one of the reasons why he does it. But he's one guy batting in the middle of the order with runners in scoring position. You may as well take advantage of some first pitch fastballs and not just allow guys to throw the ball right down the heart of the plate.
1 ball, 1 strike on Mauer, who produced a 2-run single in the 3rd inning of yesterday's game, and that was it literally for Minnesota. After that, Fulmer went on to retire 10 straight.
Yeah, Joe Mauer, most of the damage that he has done in the big leagues has been from center field to the left field line. Very seldom does he pull the baseball. And when he does, it's usually to the second baseman.
Trying to catch the outside corner, couldn't do it. You can see on a day like today, the pitchers will be allowed to go to their mouth with their pitching hand because it is so chilly while they're on the mound. Typically, that's not allowed. 2-1. He can stay nice and warm all day. Dozier at second with 1 out. To center field on a line. Jacoby Jones cruising back all the way to the warning track. 2 outs.
Take a look at Jacoby out in center field. He gets really good jumps and really great breaks at the crack of the bat. As soon as this ball goes up, he takes that beeline into that gap in left center field and makes that play look rather easy for the center fielder. It's a nice job.
Jacoby played a lot of center field in the Arizona Fall League in the offseason, trying to transition to that position.
He's already made several nice plays here at Comerica Park in the opening week of the season.
Miguel Sano stands in.
Matt Shepard did a real nice piece on Miguel Sano in the pregame show, talking about his maturation and the fact that he's dialed in here at the beginning of the season. And their manager, Paul Molitor, thinks this guy has a chance to be a star.
Now the 0-1. I walked into the ballpark at the same time as Miguel Sano today, and we often say how television makes the game look easy, and maybe it kind of makes guys not look as big as they really are. When you stand next to Miguel Sano, you're like, whoa, this is a big person.
Yeah, he looks like he should be playing on Sundays.
Yeah. Very strong individual.
Out of San Pedro de Macorís.
0-2 on Sano. And he gets away from McCann. It'll roll through, and Dozier moves up.
We've already seen this a couple of times this year with McCann, the ball scooting through the legs. He doesn't quite get the tailgate down. The glove doesn't get down as well, and that ball scoots right through James's legs. One of the things they're trying to get McCann to do, and this is Mick Billmeyer, who is a bullpen coach, and he also handles the catchers. They're trying to get him to set up a lot earlier than he has in the past. And it's a work in progress for James McCann. They want him to get upset early so he can make the adjustments with the glove and also make the necessary adjustments when you need to get down and block a ball.
Will getting him to set up quicker allow him to frame pitches better, do you think?
For sure.
They've charged Zimmerman with a wild pitch on that last one. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Sano. Runner at third, 2 outs. Sano at 296, 2 homers on the young season. And he got him, strike 3. Sano did not like it. First strikeout of the ball game for Jordan Zimmerman. Bottom of the first at a cool and crisp Comerica Park. The starting lineup today for the Tigers, presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Luke is at the top. It'll be Romine. He'll play second base today, followed by Castellanos and Cabrera. Vimar DHing. J-Up is in left. Collins in right. Bottom three features McCann, Jacoby Jones, and Jose Iglesias, and they are facing the right-handed offerings of Phil Hughes, who's presented by MGM Grand Detroit.
Phil Hughes will be around the plate. Did not walk one batter in the opening game against Chicago White Sox. He's got a fastball anywhere from 90 to 92. He's got a curveball, he's got a cutter, and he's been throwing his changeup a lot already this season.
And on the first pitch, Romine bangs it off his foot. No balls and one strike on the Tigers leadoff man, who is off to a 6-for-11 start.
Romine playing so well these days. Brad Austin is very comfortable putting him anywhere and resting his everyday second baseman, getting ready for that big series coming up in Cleveland over the weekend.
What's Brad got going on today?
A little something, something. Look, he got a beanie over his hat. Must be cold down there. A little chilly down there.
That's an interesting look. There's a wave and a miss, 0-2.
Phil Hughes used to have a fastball about 95 miles an hour when he was with the Yankees in his first couple of years with Minnesota, but he has not regained that velocity so far this season.
Ooh, look out, up and in. Back him out of there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. That'll get back out of play.
Andrew Romine got the Tigers on the board in yesterday's game. It was a breaking ball down in the strike zone against their starter Gibson, and he just dropped the bat in the happy zone, and his first extra base hit with the bases loaded, a grand slam.
Unreal. What a moment.
He had that smile on his face all day long.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Romine's first professional home run when he was in rookie ball in the Angels organization came in Orem, Utah. And it was a grand slam home run.
How about that?
That was his first pro homer. Now I would imagine this one probably carried a little bit more meaning for him.
You think?
Just a touch. Here's the 2-2. Bouncing ball right side for Dozier. Romine retired.
Let's take a look at the Minnesota Twins defensive alignment behind Phil Hughes. You've got Rosario, Buxton, Kepler in the outfield, Sano, Polanco, Dozier, Mauer round out the infield, and Chris Jimenez getting the start here today. As a matter of fact, his first start at the catching position this year. Jason Castro had caught all 7 of their prior games.
Castellanos in the 2 spot again today, has hit safely in 7 of his last 8.
One of the things that a few of the Tigers will do, and it's only because Phil Hughes and his 92 pitches that he threw 5 days ago in Chicago, he threw 23 changeups in 92 pitches.
Wow.
But that doesn't tell the whole story, Mario. Get this. In all of last year, he threw just 24 changeups in over 900 at-bats. 900 pitches.
So he's a little bit ahead of his pace from last year.
Well, he worked on it in spring training, and it's one of the reasons why they feel like he's going to have a good year. He's going to throw more changeups.
Well, last year was a year that he certainly would like to forget. He was struck by a line drive that broke his leg off the bat of JT Realmuto of the Miami Marlins.
Here's that pitch right here. Here's a changeup here thrown to Castellanos at 83 miles an hour.
And not only last year did he break his leg, but in the offseason he had the thoracic outlet syndrome surgery.
Ooh, tough year for Phil.
So the shoulder and the leg, and he's been able to rehab through it all, and here he is. I mean, that takes a lot of work to come back from those 2 injuries.
Yes, it does.
0-2 on Castellanos. Nick with a couple of homers this year, 4 driven in. High, towering fly ball to center. Buxton is under it. And the ballpark swallows that one up. 2 gone. Time now for the Bernstein advantage. As Miguel Cabrera comes strolling in. Most homers against Hughes. This guy's at the top of the list.
6 homers for Miguel Cabrera against Phil Hughes. As a matter of fact, those 6 home runs represent the most he's hit against any pitcher in his major league career.
Pizza.
Looks good.
It does, man. Cabrera hammers one to right field. That ball picking up some steam to the track, to the wall. Then he's done it again. It's gone. An opposite field home run. Cabrera gets Hughes again.
Look out, big fella.
Laser.
You knew it was just a matter of time. Every single swing that Miguel Cabrera has taken the week is one that he was trying to find that stroke, driving the ball the other way. He gets a fastball upstairs and somehow gets on top of that 90-mile-per-hour fastball. And look at the legs here. Look at the leverage. That's one of the things we've been talking about Miguel. He had to get his legs back underneath him. That is not an upper body swing, and that's why he's able to drive that ball out of the ballpark to right field like he's a left-handed power hitter. That is a wonderful sight, Mario.
A lot of balls hit hard to right field from Miggy the last couple of days, but that one was an absolute frozen roll. And now once Cabrera gets going, the offense really starts to click.
That is now his 7th home run against Phil Hughes in his career.
Tigers, meanwhile, have homered in 9 straight games out of the chute.
That's a franchise record.
Guy was on the phone. He caught the ball. Fouled out of play 0-2.
How about Matt Shepard? First day at the ballpark. He gets to pick first in our pick to stick, and he takes Miguel Cabrera.
This is becoming a runaway in the standings for the reporter. We're going to have to pick up.
Are you guys nervous?
No.
Are you worried?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out how you got a chance to pick first today, man. It's your first game.
Well, I mean, I wore the hat.
Well,
I wore the hat in the pregame.
There you go. There you go.
Anytime you get an opportunity to do that, people are going to be a little nicer to you.
You should get a chance to pick every day putting that hat on.
If I get that opportunity, I'll wear it all season long. Give me 162 right now.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Shep doesn't show up. He just kind of saunters into the ballpark today wearing the hat. I'll go with Miguel Cabrera, he says. First pitch gone. Or first at bat gone, at least. Nice job, Shep.
I wasn't going out on much of a limb. It's Miguel Cabrera, for crying out loud.
Very true.
What's funny about Miggy, despite him kind of struggling this year, he was somebody's pick to stick every single day.
There's a swing and a miss, and that'll end the inning. Strikeout for Hughes. Victor is gone. Miguel Cabrera makes it 1-0.
The year has put Detroit in front 1-0. One of the beauty traditions here at Comerica Park is finding the person who's throwing out that first pitch. Derek Walton, the outstanding point guard, University of Michigan, did so earlier today. The second team all Big Ten selection was money for the Wolverines in the NCAA tournament, helping them get to the Sweet 16. Next step for him, hopefully Mario and Rod, an NBA camp. You guys got smooth jumpers. I know you got a sick crossover. I know you love to take it to the rack. Let's take it back upstairs to you.
Yep. My game has always been called sick, that's for sure.
Yeah, once upon a time, Shep.
Derek Walton, man, he can play. He can absolutely play. Here's Max Kepler to get things started, driving one toward left field. That's going to be Upton for out number 1. And that'll bring up Jorge Polanco now. Home run by Miggy has given the Tigers an early lead here. And Zimmerman gave up a single. Twins got Dozier as far as third base, but could not score him in the first. Polanco is 0 for 7 with a walk in this series. In there is strike 0-1. Zim has gone 142 consecutive starts without walking consecutive batters.
How about that?
You really need, that's one of those stats where you really need to kind of sit and think about that. 142 straight starts without back-to-back walks.
You have to go all the way back to May 6th of 2012, the last time Zim walked 2 consecutive batters. That's amazing.
Well, and that's why the number you gave earlier about his walks per 9 being best among actives.
Lots of first pitch strikes. About 76% of the pitches that he throws since coming to the big leagues have been first pitch strikes. And that's always a wonderful recipe for success. Zim not throwing as hard these days as he threw when he was with the Washington Nationals. He was 95, 96, 97. He hasn't been there with the Tigers. He's right around 92, 93. But with the command that he has and the efficiency to throw the fastball to all 4 quadrants of the strike zone, 92, 93 is really enough to win at this level.
Fly ball right field. Collins started back. Now he's in. 2 up and 2 down. By the way, the Tigers take on the Chicago White Sox on Saturday, April 29th, 1:10 p.m. start for all, or the first 10,000 fans get a free 2017-2018 team calendar. For tickets, visit tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER.
Looks like Jordan Zimmerman pitching to the ballpark here this afternoon. Comerica Park, one of the biggest ballparks in all of baseball. Very spacious. It's hard to hit the ball out of the ballpark. 4 of the 5 outs recorded so far by Zimmerman have been in the air.
Jimenez looks at a strike. You were talking about the first pitch strikes for Jordan. Did you know that, I know you know this actually, that yesterday Fulmer 23 of 23?
I do know that, man.
About that.
But what's incredible about that for me yesterday, Mario, is that beyond the first pitch, for the first 3 innings, he struggled with his command.
And it just was kind of an anomaly.
I mean, it was looking like he was not going to get through 4 innings yesterday.
Zim now 6 of 7 on first pitch strikes here today. I asked Fulmer before the game today, have you ever gone 23 of 23 in first pitch strikes? And he said, not even close. Nobody does that.
That's PlayStation 4 kind of stuff.
It is. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. And a 1-2-3 inning for Jordan Zimmerman. Justin Upton will get things started for the Tigers. Go to the bottom of the second. And Menards brings you the big money encounter. The Tigers' consecutive games now with a home run to begin a season. Well, how about 9 for a franchise record? These are all the last 10 seasons. Tampa atop that list. Miguel Cabrera going deep to give the Tigers the lead. Justin Upton looks at a ball inside.
You wouldn't think the Tigers would have played long ball 9 consecutive games, with Miguel Cabrera being the only one in the middle of the order that has been able to circle the pillows.
Good point.
Not Justin yet, not Victor Martinez yet.
Justin out in front of that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. They will battle for that souvenir.
Hitters in the American League are going to get a different look at Phil Hughes these days. We told you that in his first outing of the year, of 92 pitches, 25% of those were changeups. And not only is he throwing the changeup to the left-handed batters, but he's throwing the changeup to the right-handed batters. He just threw Justin Upton back-to-back changeups. But that's a dangerous pitch to a right-hander. If that ball fades down into Justin's happy zone, then Justin will hit a home run here. Verlander not afraid to throw his changeup to right-handed batters.
Here's the 1-2. Out of the strike zone for strike 3.
A nice pitch sequence here for Phil Hughes. Soft stuff inside to Justin Upton. Got him out in front early. Swung and missed on 1 changeup, then climbed the ladder with a 4-seam fastball at 90 to get the swing and miss.
Here's Tyler Collins. Pretty good start this year for Collins. He is 6 for 17, computing to 353. Five for his last 10.
Collins getting a chance to play a little bit more often these days, with JD Martinez being on the disabled list. If JD was here and playing every day, then more than likely Collins would not have as many at-bats as he's already been able to get this season.
It's kind of tough for guys to get going sitting on the bench and playing every 2 or 3 days.
Especially after playing just about every day in spring training. It's always a challenge for managers coming out of spring. And to not get caught just using your starting players every day, you have to try to somehow keep the other guys fresh the first couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge because obviously everybody wants to get off to a great start, and in doing so you tend to play your regulars. And you made a good point, I think, earlier today, and Brad getting a chance now to sit down Ian Kinsler for an afternoon, let him kind of rest up, and then take on the Indians beginning tomorrow night.
And in reality, it's almost like 2 days off for Ian, because they played a day game yesterday. He get that night off, you get tonight off, and then he's going to be fresh for tomorrow night when we get to Cleveland. This much we do know: Ian never wants a day off.
No. Missed inside. There's a walk. 1 on, 1 out. First base on balls for Hughes. Stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we select a Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites, now being served all day. So Hughes, who doesn't walk too many, has just given a free pass to Tyler Collins. Now McCann. Three home runs on the homestand for McCann. The Tigers have gotten some pretty good production out of the bottom of their lineup on this homestand.
And James definitely has found his power stroke here in the early goings of this season. He only has a total of 4 hits on the year, but 3 of those have left the building.
Collins drawing a throw. Twins have used for a few more years. His contract goes through the 2019 campaign. Broke in with the Yankees, a former first-round pick of the Yanks. Paul Molitor's team came into town at 5-1, and now they've lost a couple of games. 1-1.
Good cut fastball there thrown by Phil Hughes at 86 miles an hour. He throws a lot of cutters these days. Lots of cutters, more changeups, an occasional curveball. He's always had great command with his four-seam fastball.
They are giving McCann a lot of room down the left field line if he pulls Hughes. Fouled away, 1-2.
Good swing there by James McCann.
McCann has seen most of the action behind the plate this year. Avila has played a little bit. But James, the clear starting catcher on this team, and there's Avila, who provides a quality veteran presence on this club. Now the 1-2 swing and a miss. So McCann is out of there.
That is the first time that James McCann has struck out in his last 22 plate appearances.
Whoa.
I had that before the at bat too, you know that.
Did you?
I just sat on it though.
You didn't want to jinx him, did you?
I didn't want to get that first jinx tweet of the year.
Well, they would have been rolling in at this point. 15 or 20 deep.
So I saved it for after the fact. You love that, don't you?
That is a veteran move, man. See, I can learn something. I just learned something right now. Just sit on that.
Yeah, they fed it to me, but I wouldn't go with it.
Here's Jones now with 2 outs, and Jacoby cuts and misses. Jones at 167. His only homer this year was opening day in Chicago off Quintana. But as Rod mentioned, he has played some really good defensive center field here in this ballpark.
And here comes a changeup.
1 ball, 1 strike.
We were told today that he would be throwing a lot more changeups than in the past, and judging by the numbers in his last outing, he has done that today. I guess once you're in the big leagues for 6, 7, 8 years, you have to kind of reinvent yourself, especially if you don't have that mid-90s fastball, as Phil Hughes does not have anymore.
Now the 1-1. Squibbed into right field, a base hit. Collins hits the bag, goes to third, and he is in there standing up. Jacoby Jones with a single to right.
That was a 92-mile-per-hour fastball. It's the hardest fastball that Phil Hughes has thrown so far this afternoon. And he was tardy on it. That would be Jacoby Jones, and just kind of fought this ball off the label the opposite way and somehow gets rewarded with a knock.
That'll bring up Iglesias now with men at first and third. It's been a slow start for Iglesias. He had that one big game in which he homered.
Sano down at third base is not sure whether Iglesias is the kind of guy that will try to bunt for a base hit with 2 outs and a runner on third. Therefore, he's kind of even with the bag down at third base.
Let me ask you this about Iglesias overall. Should he be bunting more with his speed?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I like the fact that he can handle the bat, and you can get yourself a hit. Right now, he's not really swinging the bat all that well. His batting average is under 100. And so take advantage of your speed.
Here's the 0-1. In the air toward left field, sinking, and he's not able to catch it. Rosario tried to come up with the play and drop the baseball. The run will score. Collins comes in to make it 2-0.
We've talked about these Minnesota outfielders and the fact that they play so shallow, and the fact they play so shallow is they take away a lot of base hits like this. This one, unfortunately for Rosario, right off the heel of the glove. Outstanding base running by Jacoby Jones, who was on first base, who read it. He was able to get to third, and Iglesias also able to get himself in a scoring position.
Iglesias had gone 17 straight at bats against righties without a hit, but that comes to a streaking halt here with a double and an RBI. And the Tigers have a 2-0 lead. Now a hit by Romine could extend that lead. Iglesias' 3rd RBI of the year. Romine bounced out back at the first, 0 for 1. Two and 0. So again, it's the bottom part of the Tigers lineup that has come through. The Jones single, the double by Iglesias. Now Romine trying to cash in 2 more. Swing and a miss. 2-1 on Romine, who is now 6 for 12 on the brand new season. He carries a lot of different gloves in his locker. Today using an infielder's glove, playing second base. Bouncing ball to short. Polanco has it there, and that'll end the inning. Tigers get another run though, lead it 2-0. Jordan Zimmerman back at the hill after giving up a leadoff single, has mowed down 6 in a row.
Chrysler, John and Simo back with you, and you would expect a guy from Auburndale, Wisconsin, or as they say there, Wisconsin, to be unfazed about pitching in chilly temperatures. That's true for Jordan Zimmerman.
It's definitely true for Jordan Zimmerman. He's Picasso right now. He's absolutely painting on the outside part of the plate with a good 2-seam fastball. He's also got a real good field keys for that breaking ball and the slider. He's staying out of the middle of the plate. He looks real good early.
Couple of strikeouts and a couple of run lead. Mario, run.
All right, gents, it'll be Rosario to lead things off for the Minnesota Twins. We go to the 3rd. 2-0 in favor of the Tigers. Zimmerman back to the hill.
I think what Zimmerman had a chance to do, he had a chance to watch Fulmer start yesterday. He also had a chance to watch Matthew Boyd's really good start a couple of days ago against Minnesota. And I think as a team, they've come to the conclusion that these guys struggle with breaking balls. There's another breaking ball there at 82, and they've swung through a lot of heaters in the first 3 contests of this series, but that's true with a by and large very young roster.
Sim, couple of strikeouts already in the game, driven down the right field line, foul.
And that's another sign of a very young roster. Even though you throw that real good breaking ball to Rosario, then you come back with this changeup upstairs, he's all over that thing. You can't set up young hitters. You really can't set them up. I mean, you could throw that breaking ball, but don't try to set these guys up. They're looking to do some damage wherever the ball's pitched, excuse me.
Here's the 0-2. Fouled away. Not a good start for Rosario. 148 this year. And he had a really good season 2 years ago.
He performed very well for Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic. He was playing every single day, and he was a huge contributor to their success. And they're not all that concerned about Rosario. I mean, they believe that he is going to be able to figure some things out, and he's going to be an okay player here, but they're not so sure about the kid in the on-deck circle. That would be Byron Buxton. Not yet.
Well, Rosario had a nice second half last year, batted .292. Then he followed that up with a .370 spring camp.
He had a lot of assists. He had a lot of triples. He stole bases. He performed very well as a rookie.
2-2 on Rosario. 1 for 7 in the series. Here's Buxton waiting on deck. And just a bit outside. 3-2.
If Jordan wanted to, if he feels like he's got that kind of command today, he can simply come back with another breaking ball and possibly get a swing and miss. Or he has the kind of command with his fastball that he could throw to one of the weaknesses here of Eddie Rosario. And McCann wanted the fastball, and it looks like Jordan Zimmerman wanted something off speed, and we'll see what they settle on here. Settle on the fastball.
It's popped in the air to shallow right center field. Romine coming in, so is Collins. Collins will make the play. 1 gone. We check in now with Matt Shepard with more on the struggles of Byron Buxton.
Yeah, Mario, he's back in the lineup. Paul Molitor wanted to give him a chance to see if the game would slow down yesterday, so he sat his talented 23-year-old outfielder who has mightily struggled. 2 for 29 to start the year, so that's 69. And he struck out 17 times. That's tied for the most since 1913. I had a chance to talk with Buxton before the game. Look, he's a really good kid. You kind of root for him if you weren't a Tigers fan on this day, but he's doing his best to keep the confidence. And it doesn't help that last year he struggled too. Fellas, April 24th, he was sent down to AAA Toledo because of the early struggles. The Twins are hoping to avoid that again this year. Back to you.
Yeah, Shep, he was the number 2 overall pick a few years back in the draft, right behind Carlos Correa of the Astros. And when you talk to people that cover Buxton, to a man, they all say that this is one of the most affable, likable young men in the game, but he's just going through it right now.
Well, it takes high school kids a lot longer, especially high school kids that did not play a lot of baseball growing up.
Yeah, fellas, I said Toledo. I meant Rochester, of course, for Minnesota. Toledo would love to have a talented kid like this, but the Twins are happy to have him too. He's going to get it right? He's really a personable guy. And Rod, you can speak to this. Confidence can be such a shaky thing. Even though you've got to be this good to get to this level, confidence can be very fragile, and it seems like it might be for him right now.
Well, they thought he had figured some things out because he performed very well down the stretch last year for Minnesota in the month of September, and they thought that the light had come on for the young man and he would carry that into this season. But so far, he has been swinging and missing quite often. At some point in time, he'll be able to hit up here. There's no doubt about that. His skill set is superior to most. Well, a lot of guys, I should say.
Well, you talked about his final month. He had 9 homers in 287 the final month. A lot of RBIs as well. And he looks at a ball low. And a very close pitch. 3-2 now on Buxton. Dozier waiting on deck.
He had 9 home runs in the final month.
And 9 homers. Wow. 22 ribbies. Popped him up. Foul ground. Third base side. Circling Castellanos. 2 gone.
Jordan Zimmerman did not have much of a feel at all in his first game of the year last Saturday against the Boston Red Sox. A feel for his breaking ball. But today he has thrown several really good curveballs and some good sliders.
And the results so far has kept the Twins off the board.
The Twins have never beaten Jordan Zimmerman. He is 3-0 lifetime with a 3.40 earned run average against the Minnesota Twins.
What do you say we keep it that way? That's slapped to right center field. Going to get down, a base hit.
If Brian Dozier did a little bit more of that in certain situations, he wouldn't be a 240 hitter. He would be a 300 hitter with power. This is a real good swing by Dozier, and very seldom do you see him hit balls on the line the opposite way. But he did there. Fastball away. He simply went with the pitch. It's a nice job.
2 out of 2 for Dozier now. That'll set up Robbie Grossman.
Got to keep Dozier close. He's already stolen a base here this afternoon. And Mario told you earlier that Brian Dozier has already stolen 4 bases this year, and he has not been caught. See, I listen to you.
I'm glad you do, Rod. You're on a list of 1. Meanwhile, Zim trying to keep Dozier close, whose percentage has been good most of his career. Well, you get the feeling, though, that he is going to be highly sought after once the deadline rolls around if the Twins are not performing.
Well, apparently the Los Angeles Dodgers were not giving the Minnesota Twins what they wanted in the offseason for Brian Dozier, because I thought, and I think a lot of the baseball experts out there thought, well, I'm not calling myself an expert.
Well, you are?
But a lot of the baseball experts out there thought that he would be in Los Angeles.
How many years in the game for you?
Ooh, 40.
That qualifies as expert status.
Yeah, been doing a long time, man. Since age 17. 57 now. Blessed. 40 straight years.
17,
too.
man. Do you remember the first time you walked into a camp at age 17?
I do. Sarasota, Florida.
Were you scared?
Absolutely. I had flown all night to get to Sarasota, Florida. 17 years old. Uh-oh.
That ball hit high and deep down the right field line. It looks like trouble. And that ball is gone. A home run.
Ooh, Grossman got a little sock in that bat.
Apparently so. A 2-run shot down the right field line. A 2-out 2-run shot. And the Twins have tied it.
4-seam fastball here thrown by Jordan Zimmerman that splits the plate and right around the belt buckle, and a lot of times those don't get a chance to make it to the catcher's glove.
First of the year for Grossman. And it comes to an untimely spot for the Tigers. It ties the game at 2. Mauer slaps it foul.
I just finished that story on my first day of rookie ball. I flew all night to get there. I had not met my teammates yet. I was just 17 years old. Stayed in a hotel for the very first time by myself that night. Was scared to death at 17 years old. But when I got to the ballpark the next day, and I got a chance to meet all my new teammates, guys that I did not know, guys from all over the country, I kind of settled in, and you got a roommate, and then you were fine. But that first couple of days, I was absolutely scared.
I can't imagine.
Sarasota, Florida.
17 years old, man. I was still learning to tie my shoes at that point.
I was on my way, man.
Here's the 1-1. Popped up. Castellanos has room to third. And that'll be it for the Twins. They tie it up on the Grossman homer, though. Miggy due up second in the bottom of the third. He's already homered for the Tigers. last night at Wrigley Field in Chicago. The first time in 108 years they handed out championship rings.
Had 108 diamonds on the ring, I heard, partner.
Amazing. I saw, you can see the rings there, but I've seen some drawings and some photos of them. They're pretty beautiful, pretty cool.
You think they gave Bill Murray one?
Probably. I don't think they had a choice. He's hanging around the ballpark all the time. Nick Castellanos leads it off. Castellanos, Cabrera, Martinez, 2, 3, 4 for the Tigers against Phil Hughes.
And first time up today for Castellanos. He got a couple of change-ups from Phil Hughes down and in. We'll see how Phil Hughes attacks him this time around.
Strike one in the inside corner.
First pitch fastball at 89. Castellanos has been in that number 2 spot all year long.
One ball, one strike. I think when managers kind of formulate their lineups, you know, typically at the top you like guys that can get on base for the guys in the middle of the lineup, but it's also very nice, and Jim Leland subscribed to this theory, of having a little pop in that 2 spot of the lineup. That's rolled foul. And Nick certainly gives you that. He's hit a couple of home runs already this year. Tigers came in at 6-2. Minnesota 5-3 in second place behind the Tigers in the early going. Here's the 1-2.
You know, just to finish your thought on number 2 hitters, and the game has evolved quite a bit, because you're absolutely right. It used to be a spot where you wanted a table setter, a guy that could bunt, a guy that could hit and run, a guy that wasn't afraid to take a pitch, for the leadoff hitter who possibly could run. But now they've got a lot of number 2 hitters in the big leagues that have a lot of power in their bats.
Yanked to third for Sano.
Want to go back to the first at bat of the afternoon for Miguel Cabrera, first home run of the year. We had talked about Miggy at length the last few days, and the fact that front shoulder had been flying off the baseball prematurely. But the lower half for me, take a look at that front leg, that front foot in particular. Once that front foot gets down, that front side is firm here, and when you hit up against a firm front side and you catch it out in front, as Miggy did right there, you can do a lot of damage. Miggy has always had powerful legs, and that's pretty much the way his swing has been built.
He'll drive this one in the air to shallow right field. Kepler coming over, and he'll run it down. Cabrera is out, 2 gone.
Off speed pitch there thrown by Hughes that had Miggy fooled and out in front just a little bit. That back shoulder dropped on that swing.
Bring up Victor Martinez. Victor struck out to end the first inning. This is something that Martinez has faced exclusively the last couple of years. In batting left-handed, they shift to the right side. I'm not sure there's a team out there that doesn't do that with nobody on. Victor, 5 hits on the homestand. The 0-1. Martinez, a solid year last year, despite playing the final 2 months with a hernia that really for the most part wasn't disclosed, but he battled through it. And hope is this season he stays healthy. Here's the 0-2.
And Victor Martinez has had a marvelous career. He's made several All-Star teams. He's won several Silver Sluggers. Almost won an MVP just a couple of years ago. And nearly a 300 batter from both sides of the plate. There are not many of those guys walking around.
just off the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tigers led 2-0. Twins have tied it up with a two spot in the home run by Robbie Grossman. Tigers got 1 in the first, 1 in the second. Here's the 2-2. Just got a piece of it to stay alive, and that came up and got Victor. Should Martinez reach, Upton would be next. Tigers are headed to Cleveland, where they'll play the Indians in a 3-game weekend series. Cleveland won the first 3 games of the year, but they're now 4-4.
It's going to be a fun 3-game series down in Cleveland, starting on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Easter Sunday in Cleveland.
Right. Yeah. There's Daniel Norris, and he'll get the call tomorrow night.
He'll jump in Shaggy and shoot on down to Cleveland after the game.
You think he's going to jump in the van? Not going to fly with the team?
I might roll in Shaggy with him down there. I got Shaggy making the trip.
Sticking your head out the window, letting your hair flow in the wind. Oh, man.
All in on Daniel. Boy, was he throwing the ball well the other day. 95, 96. Good breaking ball. A lot of talent in that left arm.
You know, we've made so much, especially in spring camp this year, when we figured out that Norris, Boyd, and Fulmer were going to all be in the rotation, and they've really responded. Aside from that one start by Boyd rather, and he bounced back.
A lot of promise with those 3.
Hammer to right field. That ball is hooking down the line, and it is foul.
It's the second time in the last couple of days that Victor Martinez has hit a ball down the right field line, only to miss a home run by an eyelash.
Just missed.
He tried to lean it back fair. Look at that left shoulder.
Full count on Martinez.
Phil Hughes has already thrown a lot of off-speed pitches in fastball counts today. 3-2, 2 outs. We'll see what they go with here. Looked like they settled on a cutter. 1 fastball, 2 curve, 3 cutter. When he wiggles those fingers, that's a changeup.
Swing and a miss, and Martinez is out. 1-2-3 inning for Hughes.
in first pitch strikes, and that's exactly what he does to Miguel Sano his first time up. And then he alternated the fastball and the changeup and the fastball, and then one more breaking ball that put him away. That's our bell tire pitch by pitch. A beautiful pitching sequence there by Jordan Zimmerman to strike out Sano, his first plate appearance today.
And the only blemish for Mr. Zimmerman was the 2-run homer by Grossman. That tied the ball game up in the third. And it's going to be Sano to get things started here in the fourth. Sano, Kepler, and Polanco. Wave and a miss, 0-1.
A lot of first pitch breaking balls thrown by Tigers pitchers the entire series to the Minnesota Twins hitters.
Sano struck out a lot last year, 178 times, a franchise record. There's a strike, try to hold up 0-2.
He's such a dangerous bat. If you make a mistake against this guy, he can do some major damage. So far, Zim hasn't made a mistake to him. 2 really good breaking balls.
11 of 13 first pitch strikes for Jordan.
He's about 76% first pitch strikes in his big league career, Jordan Zimmerman, which is excellent.
You know, I oftentimes get fans ask me, why do you guys talk about first pitch strikes so often? What's the big deal about that?
Oh, my goodness.
It's a huge deal.
Well, the batting average, when guys do not throw that first pitch over, is about 300. 1-0 counts, 2-1 counts, 2-0 counts, opposed to the 1-2 and the 0-1 counts.
2-2 on Sano. Waiting on deck, Max Kepler. Really not a whole lot of power in this Twins lineup. The one guy they do have is Sano in the middle. Kepler behind him can hit some homers, but ironically it's Grossman with a 2-run shot in the third that tied the ball game up. Paul Molitor's Minnesota Twins last year won 59 games. And he ends up walking him, and Zimmerman upset with himself. Leadoff man on. Tigers fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. Here's Kepler. Big swing there by Max Kepler. 0 for 1 with a fly ball. Kepler did not have a strong spring. In fact, he batted just .151. Here's the 0-1. Make it 0-2 on Kepler. He looks right like a prospect that could have himself a really good major league career. Had a fairly strong big league season, his first one last year.
He plays the game the right way. A good base runner. He's got adequate power. He's got good ball to bat to ball skills. Good defender. He's the kind of player that Minnesota likes.
15 of his 17 homers last year as a rookie were hit against right-handed pitching.
I guess it's a little chilly down there today.
Yes, it is. That wind is making it a little bit more chilly than normal. Temperature struggling to get to the 50 mark.
We'll get in time tonight to catch a little bit of that Cleveland Indians game. Do a little scouting.
What do they have, a six start tonight?
6 start?
Yeah.
I'm sure they're cheating right now. They're doing a little scouting down there in their clubhouse.
Well, they had to feel pretty good about themselves in all the games they won against the Tigers last year. I think the Tigers have something to prove against the Indians this year.
Indians, fun team to watch in the postseason last year. Very exciting.
McCann He might have a shot here. Throw down to second is, and the tag got him. Overslid the bag. A little bit of a hesitation by Sano cost him.
Yeah, the hesitation did cost him. I mean, if you're anticipating on this particular play, there's no way that Sano gets thrown out. But once the ball got away from James McCann, Sano wasn't quite sure how far it got away. And then once he took off, too late. Nice job here by Iglesias with the fast glove to not only pick that ball, nice pick, but also stayed with him. And once the left foot came off, he was able to get back and tag that left leg, left foot before the ball got in the bag.
Twins want to make sure that he is out there looking at the replay to see if they want to challenge.
That umpire is all over it. That would be Ed Hickox. I mean, he was all in, right? He had his nose all in there, didn't he?
There's no way he could have missed that.
He didn't miss that.
So they're empty now. 1 out, 2-2 on Kepler. That'll get back out of play. I remember last year Zim was outstanding in the month of April, 5-0 last April.
His last couple of years, with that final year that he pitched in Washington as well. And he is now 7-0 in his last 7 April starts.
And he is our Chevrolet most dependable player. The month of April numbers since 2016, a 0.69 ERA. 3-2, and he walked him. And again, Zim upset with himself. That's his second walk in the inning.
Dude, he has just done something that he has not done since 2012.
The streak has come to an end. 142 consecutive starts without going back-to-back walks. He has done it here today.
May 16th, 2012, the last time Jordan Zimmerman walked consecutive batters.
Fortunately, they caught Sano trying to advance on a ball in the dirt. Here's Polanco. Fly ball to right field in his only at bat. Little chopper right side of the infield. Romine fires to second. That's all they get. Not hit hard enough to turn two. A fielder's choice allows Polanco to reach. And a pretty strong hard slide at second.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we have not seen a lot of the last couple of years with all the new rules to protect second baseman and shortstops. You don't see a lot of aggressive slides in the second base, but that was an aggressive slide by Kepler. And a good slide by Kepler. Nothing bad about that slide.
Here is Chris Jimenez. Ball one. Jimenez is well traveled. A lot of different teams: Cleveland, Seattle, Tampa, Texas, and then back with the Indians last year. Ball two. Twins signed him as a minor league free agent in the offseason. Well, that's a pretty good pitch right there. Just missed the outside corner. Two and one.
Take one more look at this pitch. I mean, this is a strike. If we were talking about McCann moving earlier and getting set, see how late he's still moving when the ball's on its way, and he hasn't stopped. All of a sudden now you're still moving. You're not giving that umpire the best look that you could possibly give him with that steel glove to get that call right there.
That is a great example of what you've been talking about right there.
I mean, that's why you have to get set. He's still working on it, and it will not take him long before he's able to grasp it. The guy on the other side, Jason Castro, who's not catching today, he's a really good example, and we pointed it out yesterday, of presenting the baseball to the umpire so you can get that strike call. McCann does it very well on occasion, but there are times where he gets caught moving too late.
Here's the 2-1. A little bit outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. So Jordan now has gone to 5 3-ball counts, all of them in the last 2 innings. Gave up a single and a 2-run shot in the 3rd. That tied the game. Three and 2 now on Jimenez. Waiting on deck, Eddie Rosario. Jimenez struck out in his only at bat back in the 2nd. McCann flashing some signs now as Miggy steps off the bag defensively at first. Runner goes on 3-2, rolled foul, 3rd base side, just outside of the bag. And that'll send Polanco back to first base.
And making Jordan work here a little bit more in the 4th inning than they had in the previous 3. Tigers bullpen back to full strength today. And maybe no Alex Wilson, though.
Driven deep to left field, down the line. That ball is hooking, and that ball is foul. We just got out in front of that one and yanked it just a little bit foul against Jordan. Jimenez made a bid for his first home run. Didn't miss by much. It wasn't deep enough to leave the ballpark, but that would have scored a run. Jordan trying to lean that one foul.
Yeah, he did.
And again, the 3-2. And he walked him, another walk. So how about 3 walks in the inning, and Jordan now getting frustrated. 2 on with 2 outs. Might bring Rich Doobie out of the dugout. Rosario will bat. And here comes the pitching coach. Well, today's game is on AFN, the American Forces Network, now in its 75th year of broadcasting to American military personnel overseas in more than 170 countries and naval ships at sea. Welcome to those watching today. As always, we thank you for your service. Now, Jordan now at 71 pitches, 3 walks in this inning. And now Eddie Rosario will step in with 2 on and 2 out. Well, apparently there may have been some language on the field. We apologize.
Whose mouth are we going to have to wash out with soap?
Get the soap, Rod. I don't know.
Who is it? You know?
I don't.
We'll get him.
Wash their mouth out with soap. There's a strike called on Rosario.
Yeah, it's a good breaking ball there, thrown at 79 by Jordan. And to start off, Rosario.
Here's the 0-1. Right back up the middle into center field. That's a base hit. That'll get a run in. It's a 2-out RBI single for Rosario, and the Twins have come back to take a 3-2 lead. So one of the walks has come around to score. Rosario gets his third RBI.
Well, give the Twins some credit. They took advantage in the inning. The wildness of Jordan Zimmerman, 3 base on balls, and now gives up the single.
Here's Byron Buxton. Buxton popped up in his first at bat. So now 2 for 30 on the brand new season for Buxton. You're kind of in a quandary here, Rod, with a young man like this. You want to give him a shot to work his way out of trouble, but how long do you go as the season progresses?
Well, it's a feel thing. They'll continue to watch him. If he continues to struggle, there will become a point where they'll just have to send him down. He's only got one more option. So, you know, they would like to see him try to somehow regain what he was able to do in September. They know it's in him. They know that he has it in him, and they're just hoping that somehow, some way, he can keep his head above water from an offensive standpoint, because defensively, he has the ability to change the game on that end.
No doubt, and we have seen that. And, you know, they're kind of hanging their hat on last September when he hit 9 homers, knocked in 22 runs that final month.
He's thinking too much up there right now. He's taking the fastballs for strikes down the middle, and he's swinging at the breaking balls.
He went around.
And there's a breaking ball that's off the plate that he'll swing at. And if Jordan Zimmerman wanted to come back with a fastball right now, where Buxton is, he's looking for something off speed, and Jordan Zimmerman can throw the fastball right down the middle of the plate, and he probably will not pull the bat off his shoulders.
One and two.
Here comes the fastball. We'll see if he swings at it.
Does not. Takes it high. Well, there's action in the Tigers bullpen. Aníbal Sanchez warming up. .30 in this inning now for Zimmerman, which has bumped up the pitch count to 77.
Well, we watched Michael Fulmer struggle yesterday. He threw 40 pitches in 1 inning, and he was able to rebound.
Swing and a miss, and Buxton strikes out to end the inning. Twins get a run on the RBI hit by Rosario, and we'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Game 3-2. We remind you that this year's Pink Out the Park will be held Wednesday, May 17th. Tigers taking on the Orioles. Help support breast cancer research with special ticket packages that include a commemorative t-shirt, game ticket, and donation to the Carmanos Cancer Institute. For tickets, please visit tigers.com/pickout.
Tigers really have not had an issue coming back from trailing in games this year. And they have 5 come from behind victories already, 5 of their 6. And they were trailing in the game at some point in time.
The 5 represents the high water mark in the major leagues, tied with Arizona. 0-1 on Justin Upton. Lofted in the air toward left center, Buxton. 1 out.
It's taken the Tigers a little bit to get used to the new improved Phil Hughes, not throwing a lot of fastballs so far today, throwing more changeups, throwing more breaking balls, throwing more cutters. He has thrown 54 total pitches, and about 30% of those have been off-speed pitches.
Here is Tyler Collins, a walk and a run scored. Collins got things started back in the second with a 1-out walk and then scored on the 2-out double by Iglesias. Ball outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Hughes is a Southern California kid. Mission Viejo, California. Most games he's won in a season was 18 with the Yankees back in 2010. That was the highest win total of his career. It was the only season in which he made an all-star team. Here's the 1-2. Just off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Phil will do that against left-handers. That's a cut fastball. He starts it off the plate. He tries to get it to come right back on the outside corner. Hasn't had a whole lot of success so far with that pitch.
Lefties this year came in batting just under 400 against Hughes. Now the 2-2. High, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now Hughes with the full count pitch. Fly ball in the air, left center field. Buxton on the run. Edge of the warning track to make the catch. 2 gone.
Phil Hughes has gotten himself into a really nice position where the Tigers, even when they get themselves in a situation where they should be looking for a fastball, they're not quite sure whether they're going to get it or not because he's thrown so many off-speed pitches. And because of that, Tyler Collins a little bit tardy on the fastball, up in the strike zone, and hits the ball the opposite way. He's thrown so many off-speed pitches that you just can't commit too early.
Here is James McCann. Struck out in the second. He on his hands that time. Tigers last year won 15 of the 19 against Minnesota. Did not lose in the Twin Cities. They beat them 9 straight there in Minneapolis last year. One ball, 1 strike. That one bends outside. 2-1 now on McCann. Tigers RBIs in this game. Cabrera on a homer and Iglesias on a run producing double.
This one heading back toward the seats. Long run for Mauer. He can't get there. You were talking about this yesterday, Rob, but imperative for the Tigers to get off to this quick start they had this year, because they want to be in it once the trading deadline rolls around to keep this team together.
Absolutely. And you also know that there are a couple of good teams in the Central. Kansas City is not going to play as poorly as they have through their first 8 games. You know Cleveland's a really good baseball team. So you can win, and it's imperative you win as many games early as you can.
Yeah, Cleveland off to a .500 start. White Sox under .500. KC 2-6.
They are a much better baseball team than that.
Here's a look at the early Central Division standings with the Tigers atop.
Detroit so far through the first 8 games, some of the best pitching in the American League from a starter standpoint.
Bouncing ball to short. Polanco has it there. That'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Phil Hughes. We'll go to the 5th. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded car company 3 years in a row. Chilly, breezy afternoon here at Comerica Park. Tigers trail the Minnesota Twins 3-2. Fans trying to keep warm here this afternoon. And it'll be Minnesota coming to the plate here in the 5th inning. Top of the order coming up. Brian Dozier leads it off for the Twins. Dozier, Grossman, and Mauer against Jordan Zimmerman. And the first one home is high. 1 ball and no strikes. Jordan, after a 31 pitch 4th, goes back to work here in the 5th.
It's a well-located fastball at 87 thrown there to the outside part of the plate to Brian Dozier. That's exactly where you want to pitch Brian, even though he did single the opposite way today.
Since the All-Star break last year, nobody has hit more home runs than Dozier with 29. Barry, make that play or not? No. Come on, Barry.
I said, what? It's cold down there.
I'll tell you what, man, our crew, they are hardy souls in this type of weather where it's chilly, bringing us great angles, great shots.
Several times Jordan has gone upstairs with the fastball, the 4-seam fastball, about 90 miles an hour, but they've been a little bit too high to entice the Minnesota Twins hitters into swinging at him.
Here's the 2-2. Popped up. Who wants it? Castellanos.
When you get a ball that high, sometimes the wind can become a factor. But Nick able to make the play, one gone. And here's Robbie Grossman. His 2-run shot tied the game back in the third. Those are the flags up above the scoreboard and the light standard up there. And you can see the wind that way blowing left to right. Grossman looks at ball one. Grossman last 3 seasons with the Houston Astros. Here's the 2-0. 3-0, and we've seen a lot of 3-ball counts here for Jordan today.
Looks like he's pitching around Grossman here, or at least not giving in to him.
6 times that Zim has gone to the 3-ball counts, and he'll drop it in strike 3 and 1.
He walked 3 batters in an inning here today for the first time in 7 years. You have to go all the way back to 2010, September of 2010, the last time Jordan Zimmerman walked 3 batters in any one inning.
Well, today's game featuring 2 guys that just hate the base on balls and do not walk many, although it's been a different story today for Zim. But one of those walks in the 4th came around to score. Here's the 3-2. And he walked him. And the body language of Zimmerman says it all. He just can't believe he's had this many walks today. 4 walks. Just going to bring up Joe Mauer. Mauer is 0 for 2, fly ball and a pop-up. Zimmerman in his first start through 92 pitches. He's at 89 right now. Mauer trying to bunt.
Mauer grounded into 11 double plays last year, and that's exactly what Jordan's looking for, the ground ball off his bat. For the most part, when Mauer hits the ball in the air, he hits the ball the opposite way, left center field, left field, down the left field line. When he does hit the ball on the ground, it's usually to the pull field towards second base.
Skied in the air to shallow left center. Iglesias going back to the grass. And Mauer retired, 2 outs. Grossman holding at first base. Now you got Miguel Sano. Walking a strikeout for Sano. Sano hit a ton of home runs in his minor league days and was for quite a few years considered one of their best prospects. We kept hearing about this Sano kid down in the minor leagues. Wait till he gets to the big leagues, and he has arrived and has shown that power even at this level. He'll look at a strike 0-1. He averaged 31 homers per season, and that includes all levels. Well, the minor leagues and the big leagues from 2012 to last year.
Well, they believe that he's going to be a middle of the order bat for them for years to come.
Do you see a time, and I don't know when that time is, where he may shift from the left side of the diamond to first base?
Oh, that could happen. There's no doubt about that. It's probably going to happen soon. I mean, Mauer has, what, 1 or 2 more years on his contract, and then that would allow them to push Sano over to first base. Although they do say he is athletic enough to play third base.
The Twins are probably looking along those lines. They started him on Friday night at first base, or gave him some time there, and mostly third base. Can DH. The 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike on Sano. 3 runs on 4 hits for Minnesota. The Tigers 2 runs on 3 hits. So Zim now has eclipsed his 92 from his first start. A little bit outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Tigers still have Sanchez warming up in their bullpen. He was up a little bit earlier, in fact, in the 4th inning when Zimmerman walked 3 in that frame, gave up the lead. The 2-1. Try to hold up, strike call. 2-2 on Miguel Sano. Kepler waiting on deck should Sano reach. Way outside, 3-2.
He has had a lot of 3-ball counts today, and he is in jeopardy of walking his 5th batter of the afternoon.
Yeah, that's unheard of for Jordan. 7 3-ball counts in this game.
He is fighting himself out there today. He's thrown a total of 97 pitches, 56 strikes, 41 balls.
Runner goes on 3-2, and it's rolled foul.
They had this in the pregame show today, and it was on Miguel Sano, and I didn't really know that he had burst on the scene like this, and this is where he ranks through his first 200 games in a Minnesota uniform. 1st in walks, 2nd in homers, 2nd in ribbies, 3rd in slugging, and 5th in OPS. I mean, they've been playing for a long, long time, and they've had a lot of really good players, but Miguel Sano is on track to have a really positive career for them.
And he walked him. Another walk for Jordan Zimmerman, his 5th of the afternoon.
Brad's going to have to go get him.
And here he comes. So the Tigers are going to have to go to the bullpen here. Sanchez will come out of the pen for the Tigers. It'll be a wall-side windows pitching change here in Detroit. And Jordan will not survive the 5th. We'll be back. Noon, he will finish throwing 99 pitches. Here are his numbers today: 4 2/3 and the 5 walks, a career high today. And he has given up 3 runs to this point. He will depart with a couple of base runners. And Mr. Sanchez coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, Anibal pitching in his 3rd game this year, 4 2/3 inning. The earned run average under 2, and 5 strikeouts, 2 base on balls. Anibal's got a little life on his fastball these days. That new arm slot he's throwing from, not over the top anymore. High 3/4, more finish on his fastballs, more life, more depth on his breaking balls. Pitched outstanding baseball down the stretch in spring training.
Here is Kepler. Ball 1 to Kepler.
I mean, just a few years ago, Anibal Sanchez was one of the best right-handed pitchers in the American League. He won an earned run average title back in 2013. He's thrown a no-hitter in the big leagues.
Yeah, he's well accomplished.
Yes, he is.
No-hitter with the Marlins back in 06.
Nearly threw a no-hitter with the Tigers. Had that 17 strikeout performance as well against the Atlanta Braves a couple of years ago. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my. That ball belted deep into right field. And forget about this one. That thing is way out of here.
How was he holding it?
Oh, my goodness. 3/4 of the way up the stands in right. It is a bomb off the bat of Max Kepler. And a 3-run shot.
It's a 4-seam fastball. Looked like he tried to 2-seam it, sink it back on the inside corner. And that ball just got way too much plate at 90, and Kepler knew it as soon as he made contact. You know that feeling. Just put your head down and run.
2 of those runs are charged to Zimmerman. His line is complete now, so the 2 walks come around to score in the inning. And the Twins have a 6-2 lead. Wow, look at the exit speed on that. The hit speed.
Yeah, he jumped all over that.
422 feet. First of the year for Kepler, so they've hit 2 home runs in this game. Polanco the batter. Flared foul out of play, 0-2. Grossman a 2-run shot in the 3rd, and now Kepler a 3-run homer in the 5th. The Tigers at one point led 2-0 in this game. Sanchez now with the 0-2. There's a base hit to left. He just served it out there to Justin Upton. It's a 2-out single. Fourth base runner of the inning for the Twins. And Sanchez greeted by the homer and the single. That'll bring up Jimenez. A career high 5 walks for Zimmerman today, and 3 of them came around to score. Ball 1 to Jimenez. Sanchez last year was 5-12 with the Tigers. Most of the season in the rotation, and then also some bullpen action late in the year.
Anibal struggled most of spring training as a starter, and then started pitching out of the bullpen. They changed the arm slot, had a lot more success down the stretch in spring.
He had an unhittable stretch during the spring.
He sure did. Because it was looking like he might not travel north with the ball club.
Right.
That's how poorly he was pitching. But he turned it around.
Well, Sanchez always been prone to the home run ball. 29 back in 15, which led the league, and 30 homers last year.
Yeah, he's been giving up quite a few lately.
Here's the 2-0. 3-0 on Jimenez. Walking a strikeout for Jimenez. Eddie Rosario waiting on deck. There's the strike. 3-1. Six runs on 6 hits for the Twins. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Tigers. And another walk. Oh, the baseline balls are piling up now. That is 6 for Tigers pitching.
I mean, you want to make the excuse that it's cold out there, but you really can't, because Phil Hughes is pitching in the same kind of weather, and he really has been able to throw a few more strikes today.
Well, here is Rosario, an RBI single and 2 at bats. Hughes had a 1-2-3 third, a 1-2-3 fourth, but this has been a lengthy sit down for Hughes, while his teammates have got him 3 runs. Big swing there by Rosario. Hughes gave up single runs in the first and second. Now the 0-1. Rosario 2 out of 9 on this series against the Tigers. .370 this spring for Rosario. Here's the 0-2.
And not only did he hit .370 in spring, but he also had a very nice World Baseball Classic playing for Puerto Rico. He was an everyday player for the Puerto Rican squad.
That turned out to be a pretty good Puerto Rico team. Battle all the way to the end against the United States.
Every Puerto Rican player that returned to their respective clubs after the World Baseball Classic were in awe of Yadier Molina's leadership skills.
I think we kind of knew that, about Molina. That's kind of been the book on him over the years.
But he was pretty much the pitching coach. I mean, there were several times where Yadier was going out to the mound and the pitching coach wasn't even coming.
Yeah.
He was allowing Yadier Molina to pretty much lead the club, and he did a marvelous job of leading a lot of guys. Joe Jimenez, our very own Joe Jimenez, said that he was outstanding for him.
Little roller toward the right side of the infield. Romine gobbles it up, and that'll end the inning. A long inning in which they scored 3 times. Tigers baseball today presented by Bell Tire.
6-2. During Monday's broadcast, Rod Allen and Mario Impembo were talking about the Twins having maybe one of the most athletic outfields in the American League. They're young, too. Eddie Rosario's 25. Max Kepler's 24. Byron Buxton is 23. Because of that range and speed, fellas, the Twins have been able to play more shallow this year than in the past. They've got a newfound freedom taking chances on 50-50 balls, and a lot is because of first-year coach Jeff Pickler, who gives them a 3x5 cheat sheet and sometimes puts it in their back pockets. They laminate it, advises them on where to play hitters, and Torrey Hunter's been instrumental in helping these guys, giving them new drills and terminology to improve their reads and routes to the baseball. Torrey Hunter, always involved in the game. We miss him. He's an awesome guy. Back up to 2 more awesome guys.
All right, Shep, thanks. Yeah, Torrey Hunter, man, as good as it gets, and he's been in camp with the Minnesota Twins, and you know, we always knew, Rod, that he'd probably be able to be a good teacher. I don't know what he's going to do now that he's retired, but man, he's got choices.
Well, he's working for the Minnesota Twins now. And here's a look at the guys taking a peek at that 3x5 card in their pocket. That was the center fielder Buxton, trying to see exactly who the next hitter is and where they want to play him. I think that's a first for me.
I've never seen that.
That's a first for me.
Jacoby Jones getting things started here in the 5th inning for the Tigers.
I mean, it used to be the coaches that you know, basically told the players where to move and where to play. You look in when you don't know a particular player on the other team. The coach will tell you to either go to the left or go to the right or come in because he's watching the game and he knows exactly what the scouting reports are on most hitters.
The 1-2. That'll get back out of play. You know what's next, don't you?
What's that?
They're going to bring in iPads out there, sticking iPads in their back pocket.
Probably so.
You can have all kinds of charts.
Probably so.
Where to play certain guys.
I don't know. This is a very good outfield. It's a very athletic outfield, but they're going to have to start to hit a little bit. Right now, they're not hitting. And for me, I think the best young outfield in all of baseball is that Boston Red Sox trio. Those killer bees, Benintendi. They've got Betts and Bradley Jr. Those 3 guys not only get it done defensively, but offensively, they're superior players.
I cannot argue with that at all. We saw Bradley make 2 unbelievable catches here in the series when Boston was in town.
And that Benintendi kid, he walks around with a whole lot of swagger, man. He looks like he's going to be the best of the trio for me.
He's got the show hair.
He does.
Here's the 2-2. And he missed 3-2.
And the last day they were here, I went down to the batting cage to visit with Chili Davis, who's the hitting instructor of the Boston Red Sox, and Benintendi walked in with a headband on and that stroll. He walks around like he's good, man, and he knows it.
3-2. And he walked him. Jones gets a walk, and so now Hughes, he doesn't walk anybody, has a couple in the ball game. Jacoby's your guy, right?
He is my guy.
Got you 2 points today.
He got me 2 points already today.
Single and a walk.
Phil Hughes sat, you know, while his team had a lengthy top of the 5th, scoring a few runs in that frame, and then he walks the first batter of the inning.
He had retired 7 straight to that point. Iglesias takes ball 1 in the dirt.
I don't think I've ever really witnessed a pitcher that threw 24 changeups last year in over 900 pitches. 24 changeups in over 900 pitches last year. And in his first outing of this season, he threw 23 changeups in 1 outing to the Chicago White Sox.
That is a monstrous change in strategy.
I mean, we talked about Fulmer last year in his first couple of outings as a Tiger, not really throwing that changeup, and then he got to it. Here is that changeup, and we're going to take a look at how he's been able to maneuver his way through the Tigers lineup so far today. We're going to take a look at it frozen first of all. Here's that changeup. It's a new pitch for Phil Hughes. He's thrown about 35–40% of them today. Some dart in, some dart away. It's not a great pitch yet. Not a lot of action on it, but the Tigers are getting a look at Phil Hughes and this changeup for the very first time. It's almost like a forkball.
There's the strike on the outer edge, 2-1.
How about this? 29% with the changeup today. even more than he threw it last time.
I was reading an article about that grip during spring training where he was using it, and you mentioned it looks like a forkball, and it's a little bit of a different grip. He missed again, 3-1. So Hughes now battling it a bit here in the 5th inning. Tigers trying to claw back into this game. They're down 6-2. Romine waiting on deck. Popped up the bunt back into the seats.
We were just talking about Iglesias and his first plate appearance today, whether he should incorporate a bunt or two a little bit more often. It's a good idea. Turn the lineup over, get back to the big boys.
Yeah, with his bat skills and his ability to put the ball in play, it would seem to be a good call.
If you're Brad, it wouldn't be all bad to start Jacoby Jones here, even though you're trailing by 4 runs. Iglesias doesn't strike out that often, and more than likely he's going to put the ball in play.
Runner goes and is fouled back out of play. So they had Jones on the move. Iglesias had an RBI double in the 2nd. And quickly now there's some activity in the bullpen for Minnesota. Craig Breslow, the left-hander.
The Ivy League.
Pitched yesterday, right?
He did.
Runner goes again. Swing and a miss. Throw down to 2nd, and the tag is in time.
I have no problem with that one bit. Why not start Jacoby Jones?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Iglesias just doesn't strike out all that much.
Yeah, that throw by Jimenez right in the baseline. Nice tag applied by Brian Dozier. See what kind of jump Jacoby got here. That's one of the things that I'm sure they may talk to him about, even though it's a situation where the count is 3-2 and you're hoping that that hitter can protect you. If you have the kind of speed like Jones has, you almost have to treat it like a stolen base and get the best possible jump you can, especially with a right-hander on the mound. Not so much with a left-handed pitcher, but a righty, you can try to treat that like a stolen base.
So Romine now with the bases empty. A couple of ground balls for Andrew in this game. Here's the 1-1. Popped up foul. Sano has room. And that is it in the 5th inning for the Tigers.
Miguel Cabrera with his first home run of the season. That was back in the first inning. The Tigers were looking good, but the left-handers for the Minnesota Twins have been getting off today. That was Grossman with a 2-run shot against Jordan Zimmerman. Then you've got Rosario with a base hit driving in one. That would end the day for Zimmerman. Anibal Sanchez, the first batter he sees is Max Kepler, and Max Kepler hits a 3-run home run to greet Anibal Sanchez.
So the Tigers down 6-2 as we travel to the 6th inning here this afternoon. Sanchez back to work. Byron Buxton knocks down a bunt first base side, and forget about it, base hit. Buxton beats it out. Sanchez couldn't get there in time. It'll bring up Brian Dozier.
It's a nice bunt here by Buxton, who's been swinging and missing a lot. You can't do it any better than this. He takes his time. He's patient. He gets it to Miguel, and there's no way that Anibal Sanchez can beat him to first base. I don't know how fast he got down the line there, but I know it's probably about 3.6, 3.7 from the right side, I bet. Well, and that's flying.
And a guy like Buxton, who's been struggling with the bat mightily, who has one outstanding above-average weapon in that speed, I mean, you might as well utilize it.
I mean, keep in mind the average time that it takes an average runner to get from that side of the batter's box to touch the bag on a ground ball is about 4.2. Buxton, we're being told, was 3.5.
Oh,
3.5 from the time the ball made contact with the bat until his foot hit the bag.
That's blazing.
Oh my goodness.
7th hit of the ball game now for Minnesota. Dozier has 2 singles, a steal, a run scored. It's been a busy day for their leadoff man. Those at bats against the starter Jordan Zimmerman.
One more look at the Buxton bunt, full speed from contact to right here. Boom. Until he touches that bag, 3.5 seconds. I don't think there's many right-handers in our sport that can get down the line that fast.
Trying to think of who might be able to be in that category of everyday players. Way high, 1 ball and 1 strike.
I know we got that kid Mondesi last year
on
a bunt, but that was from the left side, though.
Yeah, that's true.
That was from the left side, and I think that was like 3.6 on a bunt.
One on Dozier. There goes the runner. McCann will throw from his knees. It's going to be late. Stolen base for Buxton. First of the year.
This is what Buxton can do if he gets on base. And that's why they're going to be awfully patient with him. He gets a good jump off Anibal Sanchez, straight steal. He never looks in to see what the ball is doing. Nice job of receiving the baseball by Romine, straddling the second base bag, but when he applied the tag, it was too late.
Great shot of Romine as well, holding that tag on until that slide was complete to make sure Buxton didn't go off the bag. But he stayed on. Two and two on Dozier. Swing and a miss. 1 gone. Here's Robbie Grossman. He's had a nice day. Delivered a key blow back in the 3rd, a 2-run shot off Zimmerman into the seats and right. That'll get away from McCann. Buxton will go to 3rd. A wild pitch. So Buxton with the bunt single, steals second, moves to third on a wild pitch. And now the infield coming in for the Tigers. Way outside, 2-0. Grossman right now just needs a deep enough fly ball to score Buxton. Sanchez has fallen behind 2-0. Now 3-0.
It might not be all bad to give Grossman a free pass here. You set up your double play with Joe Mauer in the batter's box. He's in the on-deck circle right now. That would be your best opportunity of getting out of the inning without giving up a run. Don't get this one too close. Grossman might have the green light here. 3 balls, no strikes.
3-1. There's Mauer lurking on deck. Middle of the lineup. You got Mauer 3, Sano 4. And he walked him.
The Minnesota Twins have been awfully aggressive today, and really they've been aggressive the entire season with their base running. This is one of the things they talked about in spring training. They're going to try to steal as many bases as the opposition will give them. They've been on the move all day long. Dozier with a steal. He was on the move again on a home run. There's been wild pitches. There's been pass balls, and every step of the way they've tried to advance. An aggressive slide there by Kepler, and then the steal of second base by Buxton, and then the wild pitch that Buxton gets the third base on. Mario, you get the feeling this is the kind of baseball Minnesota's going to have to play because they only really have one power hitter in Miguel Sano.
You know, that looked like a season highlight package. That's only what happened today.
Right.
They've been all over the diamond. But you're right, not a whole lot of power in the middle of this lineup. They've got to scratch and claw for runs.
Mauer takes 95% of the time, but he's not taking this first pitch.
Runner goes. Mauer lines it to left field, going to get down, a base hit. Buxton will score, and now it's 7-2 Minnesota.
I just had a feeling with a runner on third base, less than 2 outs, even a guy like Joe Mauer, who notoriously takes the very first pitch, was going to be swinging there, and Anibal Sanchez threw him a pitch that was right down the middle. It's a 2-seam fastball, and he did what Joe Mauer has done so many times against Tigers pitching. Solid single the opposite way.
Mauer's 5th RBI of the season. He drove in 2 in the ball game yesterday. Still only 1 out. Here is Sano. Ball 1. So what do we have today? We've got 7 walks for Tigers pitching today.
Had a couple of wild pitches today as well to go along with the base on balls.
The Twins have at least 1 run in each of the last 4 innings in this game. They scored 3 in the 5th. And Sano drills one deep to center field. Jones on the run. He looks up, and this ball, he's in the bushes in center field.
My goodness.
Miguel Sano just hit a long home run.
430 on the line.
You could tell off the sound of the bat, couldn't you?
I could.
My goodness. That is big boy territory out there.
Very seldom do you see the center fielder turn and watch it fly over his head to straightaway center field. He absolutely killed that 2-seam fastball.
Second home run allowed by Sanchez. It is 10-2. There's a drive to right field. That ball is going to get down and go to the wall. Kepler is on his way to second, and he is in with a stand-up double. 3 straight hits after a walk. And Kepler now has a double to go with his homer. 10 hits now for Minnesota. 10 runs on 10 hits. Oh, 111. And to kind of give you a basis on what is good at the major league level, what, about 100 miles an hour is
right,
good.
100 miles an hour is average. But that's one of the things that Sano has been doing the entire season. He's not been as pull happy as he was last year when he struck out 178 times. The majority of his hits have gone right through the center of the diamond, and he knows and he realizes that he's strong enough to hit the ball out of center field and the right center field.
440 on that home run.
440 on the line.
On a line, too.
That would have been out of old Tiger Stadium on the line, straightaway center field. It was 440. What? It was a 420.
Been out of Grand Canyon. Unbelievable. Shane Green warming up down the Detroit bullpen. That's drilled toward left center field. Here comes Jones. Jacoby runs it down. Polanco is out. 2 gone. Here's Chris Jimenez. Eighth man to bat in the inning. This is the second straight inning the Twins have sent 8 men to the plate as Sanchez puts a wrinkle in 1-0-1. Jimenez 2 walks. Sanchez came out in relief of Zimmerman and gave up a 3-run homer to Kepler, the first man he faced in the 5th. Pulled on the ground off the bag. Fair ball down the line. This will get another run in. And Jimenez is going to hold with an RBI single to make it 11-2. And now they will officially bat around in this inning. Here is Rosario.
Man, a couple of bounces and right off the bag. Looked like Nick may have had to make a play, but it would have been a difficult play for him to make. Backhanded, still get up, and then throw out Jimenez at first. Phil Hughes, he doesn't care how long he has to sit in that dugout. He doesn't care how cold it is. He'll take as many runs as he can get.
They've gotten him 5 more here in the 6th. Rosario, RBI single in the 4th. He is 1 for 3. Bouncing ball right side. Romine in the backhand. They'll get the force to end the inning. 9 men to the plate, and they put up a 5 spot.
Save on great seats with the weekday value pack. Get 4 tickets, hot dogs, chips, and drinks, all for just $16 per person. Visit tigers.com/value or 866-66-TIGER on the telephone.
And Seattle squad's gotten off to a sluggish start. They are just 2-8 so far in the first 10 games of the regular season.
You're not kidding, sluggish. They were a lot of folks expecting big things out of that Seattle team. Still may happen.
Right, it's early.
Castellanos leading it off. Tigers have 2, 3, and 4 coming up. Nick and then Cabrera and Martinez.
And Tigers really have not been able to do anything with Phil Hughes here today. And Miguel with a home run early in the contest.
And Nick didn't like that last call. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fly ball and a ground out for Castellanos. 11 runs, 11 hits for Minnesota. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Tigers. Now the 1-1. Hammer to left field. Right there is Rosario. 1 gone. 0 for 3 for Castellanos. Here goes Miggy. Two out opposite field home run in the first for Cabrera. His first homer, first RBI of the campaign.
Well, Miggy had a feeling he'd get a couple of good swings today. He's got great numbers against Phil Hughes in his career. 7 career home runs, more home runs for Miggy against Phil than any other pitcher that he's ever faced.
Here's the 1-0. Staying away, 2-0. That home run by Cabrera was his 447th career homer, which puts him atop the list of Venezuelan-born home run hitters.
He already leads all Venezuelan-born players in just about every other offensive category.
Outside, 3-0. Victor Martinez waiting on deck. Way inside, walked it. 1 out, base on balls. Haley, the right-hander, warming up in the bullpen. So here's V-Mart now. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Hughes gave up a walk after that lengthy sit down in the 5th, but then got a strike him out, throw him out. He has walked Cabrera here in the 6th. Shift is on against Martinez. The 0-1. Slap to left field, right at Rosario. 2 gone. And that'll bring up Upton. Jay Up today is 0 for 2, strikeout, flyout, and now 2 for 17 on the homestand. That's in there, strike, 0-1. Justin had a pretty good spring camp, don't you think, Rod? He had that strong finish last year, but man, once that opening bell starts, everything just goes back to 0, and guys try and continue that success.
Absolutely. He's gotten off to a sluggish start, but he had a really nice spring training, as you mentioned, and he came into the season with a lot of confidence. It will not take him as long to get going this year as last year.
How about now? That ball hit deep to left field, way back.
to the track, to the wall, and gone.
I almost didn't get it out.
2-run shot for Upton. That'll give the fans something to cheer about. It's 11-4.
Phil Hughes has thrown a total of 95 pitches here today, and a good part of them, a majority of them, have been this changeup. First time the Tigers have really had a chance to see this changeup. Here it is, kind of a split-finger changeup, and it just stays right over the heart of the plate. Justin Upton put a really good swing on it, and Justin Upton, for his home runs that he averaged last year, he averages over 400 feet per home run. He hits the ball extremely far.
When he hits him, he hits him.
Yeah, it's not a cheat when he hits him.
And now here is Collins.
I believe the only other player that averages more distance on his home runs is that cat down in Miami, Stanton.
Stanton, yeah. He averages about 800 feet on his home runs. Or so it seems. Here's the 1-0. There's a base hit to right field for Collins.
Yeah, like it looks like they've are looking for some of the off-speed pitches now, or he's starting to get some of the off-speed pitches out over the plate.
Looks like that's going to be it for Hughes here in the 6th inning. Paul Molitor coming out. Tigers have chipped away with 2 runs. Justin Haley warming up. It's a wall-side windows pitching change. We'll be back.
Hughes, who has been known to give up quite a few home runs himself. Nice balanced position. He recognized the off-speed pitch very early. Classic uppercut swing. The ball traveled 414 feet. The hit speed 105 for Justin Upton.
So that'll be it for Hughes. He will give way to the bullpen here in the 6th inning, and it's going to be Justin Haley.
And Haley's only been in a couple of contests so far this year, and he hasn't walked any, and he has struck out 2.
Rule 5 selection from San Diego. And now here is McCann with the man on and 2 men out. 11-4. The Twins have the lead. Here's a strike called. We're talking about how Upton hits these high mammoth home runs. Just kind of a comparison. The home run that Sano hit went 71 feet off the ground. Upton's 109 feet off the ground.
Right.
So it had much more loft. It was more of a line drive home run for Sano. One ball, one strike.
First pitch by Haley at 90 miles an hour and really telegraphed the off-speed pitch, slowed down his arm motion and everything on the second pitch. It's a breaking ball. Hitters can see that.
We really slowed it down there again as well. That ball is flared toward the seats. I mean, it's noticeable.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of the things that the opposing hitters look for. I mean, obviously you see the fluid motion on the fastball. And if you're McCann or whoever's hitting it, you can almost see. And by the arm speed, when a breaking ball is coming, because he slows his arm speed down that drastically, and I guess that's a changeup.
One and two on McCann. Little high, just missed.
Here's the Haley delivery. You can see he stands on the extreme third base side of the pitching rubber, throws across his body.
Got him, strike three. McCann caught looking to end the inning. However, the Tigers trying to claw back. Justin Upton, 2-run shot here in the sixth.
Tigers, as we wrap up the series against Minnesota here at Comerica Park. John Keating and Craig Monroe. We introduced you to Simo's brand new hat on the pregame show. Apparently, it began to take on a life of its own, because at some point, the hat that Simo was wearing early, by the end of the pregame show, it ended up on our friend Matt Shepard, and then somehow this young man.
We're all just trying to make sure that the ball, especially me, the ball head needs to stay warm. And Keats, I have to admit, this hat is doing the trick, bud.
All right, it's a wind tunnel down here, Mario. We're not the babies that you think we are.
Not at all, Keats. You know I don't think that. Good job down there, fellas. I love that hat, man. Simo's not afraid. I love the Simo, man. He'll wear anything. He's not afraid.
No, he's not.
Well, here we go in the seventh inning. Byron Buxton will lead things off against a new Tigers pitcher. Sanchez going to be done for the day. It'll be Buxton, Dozier, and Grossman in the top of the seventh. And the new Tiger pitcher is Shane Green, who replaces Sanchez.
And Buxton was struggling mightily before his last at-bat, where he bunted successfully for a base hit toward first base. He had struck out already 18 times this year. And a lot of times when you do have success with a bunt, you'll get a little bit more confidence.
Sure.
And they're hoping that he can gain some confidence. He also stole a base.
Yeah. I was going to say not only that, but he swiped, he scored. Was aggressive, moved up on a wild pitch. The 2-1. always thought in the game of baseball, the little victories can really go a long, long way. In other words, you can be 0 for 4, but if in that last at bat you get a base hit, steal a bag, you feel good about that day.
Helping your team win a game some way, making a great play defensively, anything that you can do to contribute, and really makes you feel better.
Here's the 3-1. Buxton sends a ground ball to third, where Castellanos will throw him out. One gone. Here's Brian Dozier. Well, you wonder, Rod, we were talking about this, about Joe Jimenez, and I know Brad has tried to find a spot to get him a little bit of action. Of course, the big road trip, big series coming up against Cleveland. Right now, an 11-4 game, you think maybe this might be the day.
Well, this might be the best situation for a guy like Jimenez to cut his teeth and for his major league debut. And I'm sure we may see him. I'm not sure whether we will or not, but I know Brad's thinking about getting him in a game. But then again, you never know. I mean, Brad might be thinking this game is out of hand. They've got a 7-run lead. He might be trying to save Jimenez's arm for the series in Cleveland. You never know.
Here's the 1-0. Dozier bends away from a ball inside, 2-0.
It's a good breaking ball. Good bender there by Green. That one just stayed up.
2 singles, a run scored, and a steal for Dozier. Again to third. Castellanos waits on the hop. 2 gone. Here is the upcoming matchup, or matchups, presented by Wallside Windows. Here's what the series looks like against those Indians.
Yeah, you're going to see 3 of the good ones that they have. That would be Trevor Bauer, Corey Kluber, and also Carlos Carrasco. 3 right-handers, all with mid-90s fastballs and usable off-speed stuff. Daniel Norris, Justin Verlander, and Matthew Boyd will counter. That Saturday matchup is Verlander versus Kluber. That's a pretty good one, because really no 2 pitchers down the stretch last year were pitching any better than Justin Verlander and Corey Kluber. Corey Kluber nearly won another Cy Young.
Yeah, they were both very good. And Justin has been good so far this year.
They were the 2 best right-handed pitchers in the American League down the stretch.
Robbie Grossman, the batter, right back to the mound on a broken bat roller. Nice job by Green. It'll be a 1-2-3 7th inning. And coming up now, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. On a chilly afternoon in downtown Detroit, you can see the Tigers play the White Sox on Friday, April 28th at 7:10 to support thaw by one of the ticket packages. The Heat and Warmth Fund. Purchase a special package. You'll receive a ticket for the game, plus a knit Tigers thaw cap. For tickets, visit tigers.com/thaw.
Could have used that thaw cap today.
Absolutely. Hearty souls here at the ballpark today. And the Tigers bat here in the bottom of the 7th with Jacoby Jones leading it off. It'll be Jones, then Iglesias, and Romine. Haley came on and got the final out of the 6th by striking out McCann. Oh, he chased. Jacoby's out of that thing, was way out of the strike zone. One gone. They'll bring up Iglesias, so he better keep her warm.
Mario, did you know that on April 3rd, 27, our very own Jim Schmeichel was inducted into the Central Catholic High School Athletic Hall of Fame?
Is that right?
He wasn't able to attend because on April 3rd, the Tigers were in Chicago, and they were scheduled to start the season, but he was receiving the award. It's a citizen award. I mean,
nice.
Jim spent 4 years there as a letterman and winning in several sports. All of his kids have gone to school there as well. And not only that, but he also taught there and coached at the school.
There's a base hit for Iglesias with one out. Jim Schmeichel has been a fixture of the clubhouse for the Tigers over the years. And congratulations on that citizenship award.
All of his kids also went to the school as well.
Brian, Jay, Katrina. Wow, pretty cool.
Absolutely. He couldn't attend, but his family was able to go on April 3rd while we were in Chicago. But I'm sure that's awfully special. Usually you hear about star players getting those kinds of awards, but it's nice for somebody like Jim Schmeichel to be recognized by his high school.
Congratulations, Jim.
Absolutely. 40 years Jim's been here as the clubhouse manager. 68 Tigers, 84 Tigers. He's been here for all of it.
So he was here when you were here.
He was here.
Yeah,
he was here.
Still taking care of us every now and then.
He
with
put
the
me in one of them lockers way back in the corner, being a young player.
Who'd you sit next to?
I don't even remember who it was. It was back in the corner. It was close to the outhouse.
It wasn't very memorable, was it? Good for Jim.
Yes, indeed. Congratulations. Not only him, but his whole family, though.
Yeah, absolutely. 0-2 on Romine. 2 grounders and a pop-up for Mr. Romine today. Now the 0-2. Ball high, wouldn't chase. 1-2 on Romine. Batting leadoff today, giving Kinsler a day off. Romine played center field yesterday and second base today.
Check that. Jim started in 76.
Oh, he did?
So close enough.
All right.
In 76, and he started on the visitor side. And then he's finally come to the home clubhouse. And those clubhouse jobs are good jobs, man. John Nelson's been there for a long time, 26 years in his current role on the visiting side. And Jim, 40 years.
Those guys work hard, man.
Good gig if you can get it, I guess, though, huh?
It is, but when
they work hard.
You travel like a big league team does throughout the course of the year, getting into different towns early in the morning, going straight to the ballpark, setting up the clubhouse.
But when you watch Jim, the way that he works, I mean, from the time we leave a city, I mean, getting all the luggage there, and then going to the airport, getting back, then getting all the player stuff, then getting it there, and all the other requests that he gets from everybody else. It's a well-oiled machine down there.
2-2 on Romine. Tigers trail 11-4. We're in the 7th. 1 on, 1 out. Swing and a miss. dusting him at 92, and there are 2 gone.
Haley's got some deception in the delivery. We've already told you he stands to the extreme third base side of the rubber, and then when he takes his left foot, it's well across his body pointing toward third base. So now he's throwing directly behind his body, and it looks like this ball, for if you're a right-handed batter, it's almost with his arm slot and his arm swing, he's throwing that ball by you. So he needs a little deception because the velocity is anywhere from 90 to 92.
Here's Castellanos. Nicholas 0 for 3. Hit the ball hard his last time to left field. On the inside corner for a strike. Nick with a couple of homers and 4 driven in this year. Slap foul out of play, 0-2. Haley went to Fresno State. That's where he pitched his college ball. 25 years old.
Opportunity of a lifetime for Haley. Rule 5 pick. Drafted from the San Diego Padres. Hoping to stay in the big leagues all season long with the Minnesota Twins.
The 0-2. Wouldn't chase. 1-2 on Nick. Haley came on for Hughes, who surrendered the 2-run homer to Upton in the 6th. And then he struck out McCann to end the inning. Way outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cabrera waiting on deck. Drill to center field. Buxton is on the run. He'll track it down to the gap. And Nick is 0 for 4 in this game. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives to Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. You hungry, Rod?
Yeah, it's about that time. It's been a while since we had lunch.
Go get you a sausage. Romine will move from second to first. And that means Machado is in the game. He'll play second base. Or as he likes to say, segunda base. Mikey Matukas in left. And Shane Green back to the hill. So Brad's starting to look ahead now, taking a few of his regulars out. Here is Joe Mauer to get things started in the 8th. Mauer is 1 for 4, singled in a run in the 6th. Strike called. Shane Green came on in the 7th, had a 1-2-3 frame.
Tigers haven't had many of those today. That was the first, I believe. No, Zim had one back in the 2nd.
But that was it. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Mauer. Three RBIs in the series for Mauer. Bouncing ball left side. Castellanos had it played nicely. 4 straight retired by Green. Well, we talked about him. There he is.
Yep. Our first look at him.
Joe Jimenez, one of the prized prospects for the Tigers, who was called up a couple of days ago when Rondon was sent down to the minor leagues. So Jimenez warming up. He'll be entering this fray.
Jimenez said he made the phone call to his parents after he was called up to the big leagues, and they had him on speakerphone, and he could tell that both of his parents were crying, mom and dad.
That's awesome.
Elated, you know, that their son has finally made it.
That's a good cry.
To the major leagues, absolutely. Parents know how much hard work goes into these guys that are finally able to realize a dream of getting to the big leagues. It is so hard to do. It's such a hard game to play.
The 0-1. Big day for Sano. 2 walks and a big 3-run homer that highlighted that big 5-run 6th. And it was a home run that hits, or was hit, over the center field wall.
The first this year. We saw several home runs go straightaway center field last year. I don't know what the deal was, but at least 10 of them here at Comerica Park over that 420 sign.
The 2-1. 3-1 on Sano.
And Greeny's got a good fastball, but if he decides to throw Sano one here, Sano's going to get a good hit. He's going to get a good swing at it.
Way inside, he walked him. 1 on, 1 out. Well, Tigers fans, the team packs up and heads to Cleveland to take on the Central Division rival Indians. All your coverage begins with Tigers Live at 6 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Tigers and Indians tomorrow at 6 p.m. here on Fox Sports Detroit. Shift coming on now for Max Kepler. Fouled at home plate. Crowd today 22,573 on a chilly Thursday afternoon here in Detroit. Tigers wrapping up the homestand.
By far the chilliest day of the 7-day homestand.
Yes, I would agree. We thought opening day was going to really be cold, but that turned out to be a decent day.
A really nice day. A lot of sun shining. Packed house, 45,000 people. Tigers win.
Gotta keep the doll warm.
Got to keep your priorities in order.
1 ball, 1 strike on Kepler. Way inside, 2-1. So Kepler hit his first home run of the season. Grossman hit his first home run of the season. Cabrera's first.
Upton.
And Upton's first. One thing, though, that will not sit well with Rich Doobie today, 8 walks for Tigers pitching.
No, he won't be happy about that.
Strike call, 2-2. Zimmerman started, and then Sanchez came on, and now Green. Here's the 2-2. That ball hit high in the air to right field, belted pretty good, back to the track and to the wall, and Collins hauls it in. His back up against the wall. Kepler almost hit his second of the game.
It sounded coming off his bat and better than the distance the ball flew. I thought he had another home run when that ball left his bat.
That'll bring Polanco.
Every single Minnesota Twins hitter has gotten at least 1 hit today. A lot of production up and down their lineup.
11 hits total for Minnesota. Tigers have 6 hits. And Polanco looks at a strike, 0-1. One ball, 1 strike on Jorge Polanco. Green trying to give the Tigers 2 innings out of the bullpen today. Here's the 1-1.
Alex Wilson closed out yesterday's contest with 2 innings of relief.
Now the 1-2. Ball fouled back out of play. Twins broke it open with 3 in the 5th and then 5 in the 6th. Jordan Zimmerman started, went 4 2/3 to walk 5 in the game, which was really out of character for Zim. And the Twins took advantage. Here's the 1-2. Little pop up, back a short. Iglesias runs it down. Side retired. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th at Comerica. Here today, MLB.com at bat is the #1 app for our mobile live Tigers baseball. Stay connected, fully customizable experience. Get Tigers home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, statcast, news, and the proverbial a whole lot more. Download MLB.com at bats today.
That's a brave gentleman in the stands with that Dominican shirt on, with no pants, got shorts on.
Here's Machado.
It's good to be young. He look frosty. He's chilly though, ain't he?
Does not look pleased.
Yeah,
either.
he made a bad choice today. I made a bad decision today.
A whole lot warmer in the Dominican right now.
No doubt.
Machado's first at bat.
Nice year for Machado last year in Toledo. 4 homers, 48 driven in. Outstanding defender at shortstop. Soft hand, strong arm, good range.
Dixon made the team out of spring training. Part of the Tigers bench. Has made a start as well. He'll shoot that one foul down the right field line. Dixon has always been a really good glove man. Let's look at Avila moving to the on-deck circle. The question is whether or not the Tigers felt he could hit at this level. And I remember Al Avila in spring training saying, we feel he can hit enough at this level to go with the glove that he brings us.
Right.
Which I think is probably an accurate assessment. The 1-2. Missed it high, 2-2.
We've been hearing about Dixon for years. I remember when he was an A-ball, we heard that he had a great glove. Finally had a chance to see him that next spring training, which was a few years ago.
And he went around, tried to hold up, but he's called down on strikes. 1 out here in the 8th. So Haley now starting to rack up the strikeouts. That's his 4th. Here's Avila's first at bat. He is pinch hitting for Victor Martinez.
Alex has had 4 at-bats on the season. He is 2 for 4.
It's a great example of how managers have to pick and choose some spots to make sure their guys stay sharp. Avila will get an at bat here. McCann has caught most of the games. Trying to keep Machado sharp, giving him an at bat. Matuk waiting on deck. He'll get an at bat.
Who knows? Brad might even give Avila a start tomorrow in Cleveland against the right-hander Trevor Bauer. And if that's the case, then it's good that you get him an at bat here today. See some live pitching. I know Alex will catch one of the 3 games over the weekend.
Ball high, 1-1. Matuk waiting on deck. Playing to pull on the infield against Avila. Bouncing in, 2-1. Tigers with a couple of homers today. Cabrera hit his first in the 1st inning, and then a 2-run shot by Upton in the 6th. At one point early on, Tigers had a 2-0 lead. They were going for the sweep today of the Twins. Strike call, 2-2.
You have to give the Twins a lot of credit for the first couple of games of the series. And Tigers pitchers threw a lot of breaking balls up there, and they had a difficult time with those breaking balls. They made some adjustments today. They grinded out some at-bats against Jordan Zimmerman. He walked quite a few, but you have to give them some credit. And they were up for the task today.
Avila takes high, 3-2 the count.
And Haley had an earned run average of 3.10 last year, pitching in the minor leagues in the San Diego Padres organization. Obviously, somebody in Minnesota must have saw him good and said, you know what, this guy would be a great gamble for a Rule 5 pick. Rule 5 players are drafted when they have not been put on the 40-man roster. Any team can draft a player, but that player has to stay in the major leagues all season or be offered back to the team that you drafted him from, unless you can make out some kind of a deal or trade for the player.
Here's a 3-2. Fouled away.
I think most of the time when there's a Rule 5 player and he doesn't make the team that drafted him out of spring training, most organizations want the player back.
There's only so much room, though. You know, you only get the 40-man roster to protect guys, and sometimes because of circumstance or numbers, players will fall through the cracks. 3-2 again, fouled back out of play, and there have been some really good Rule 5s that have gone on to be All-Stars. Johan Santana.
Yeah. That's a good one.
A real good one. He was awfully good. Another foul back out of play, and Sevilla hangs tough. And again, they 3-2. And another foul back out of play. Avila last year spent the season in Chicago with the White Sox. And now returning back to Detroit, the organization he broke in with. Good hitting lesson going on down there.
Who's teaching?
Hitting or fishing? What are we doing here?
Bunting, looks like. Looks like he's just trying to tell him what to do here on the bunt or something.
Right back up the middle into center field. Avila with a good at bat. Right through the shift.
I don't know if Sano saw that ball off the bat of Alex's or not, but the ball was only a couple of feet forward from him, and he dove for it, and almost like he dove too late. Take a look at this ball and where he's playing. I mean, it's almost like he just didn't know whether to dive or not, or whether he didn't see it or not. Of course, you always run that risk when you put a guy on that side of the diamond and he's playing out of position. Even though Sano is an infielder, he's not usually on that side of the baseball field.
First at bat of the ball game for Mikey Matuk. Ball 1 to Matuk. 41 pitches now thrown by Haley in relief. Mikey 1 for 13 this season. The pinch hit double was a big hit against Boston in that series. And he made a great play in game 1 in this series.
He did.
That ball that was hitting right field in a tight ball game.
Jason Castro hit a line drive in right center field that he was able to cut off, and before it got into the gap.
2-1. Collins waiting on deck. Boy, the extras have really done some good work early on here, which has helped out the Tigers in this quick start. Matuk has been able to deliver. Romine, of course, the grand slam yesterday. Jacoby Jones has had his moments. Home run on opening day. Collins had some good games. Got to have the entire 25-man roster contribute, because as they say, the big guys aren't going to be able to do it every single night.
No, and you're going to need contributions from everybody if you're going to have a successful season, and you're going to need some contributions from several guys that are currently on your AAA team.
Popped up. Shallow right field. Dozier back. Kepler in. 2 gone. He'll bring up Tyler Collins. Walk, run scored, and a single for Collins today. Collins batting .368. Tyler takes a hack, fouls it back. There's Lloyd now chatting with Matuk after that last at bat.
I got to the ballpark today about 9:30. Lloyd McClendon and Leon Bull Durham, the assistant hitting coach, down there in the cage. Each player kind of runs through there in his own time frame. Those guys spend a lot of time down there in that cage.
They almost live in that cage.
They do. Bull Durham especially. And the assistant hitting coach, he's getting the guys ready for the game, guys that need flips, guys that need to stay loose, guys that are anticipating entering the contest.
0-2 on Collins. Now the 1-2 and a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Collins is out of there, and the side retired. To the 9th we go.
A 1-800-CALL-SAM update as the Tigers are down 11-4 late in this one. You win 5 of 6 on a homestand, and it's almost like the baseball gods are saying, all right, well, maybe it's somebody else's turn.
Well, it's tough to sweep a Major League Baseball team. Do make adjustments. Give the Minnesota Twins a lot of credit. They could have came in today and pretty much laid down for the Tigers, but that was not the case. They put together some solid at-bats against Jordan Zimmerman, and again, they're winning. And they played good baseball early in this season, so you kind of expected that they would come out and play better.
All your post-game reaction coming up. A storyline that we'll follow in post-game is happening right now, Mario.
That would be a Wallside Windows pitching change at the Major League debut heats of Joe Jimenez. So we'll see the prized prospect of the Tigers finally get his first chance.
And last year, a couple different levels for Jimenez. 30 saves and 31 chances. 55 minor league games, 53 innings. He punched out 78 high-octane fastball up in the upper 90s. Nice breaking pitches to complement the upper 90s fastball.
Tigers minor league pitcher of the year last season, and the first man he faces in the big leagues is Chris Jimenez.
He was called up a few days ago when Bruce Rondon got off to a shaky start. Rondon now in Toledo, and Jimenez, who many believe that he would have an impact on this team anyway, makes his way to the majors the very first week of the season.
And that first pitch he threw is at 96 to Jimenez.
Didn't you have Jimenez as the person to watch on this Tigers team this year, even before he showed up in the big leagues?
Yeah, I did. We did that opening day, our one guy that would have an impact, and I just felt at some point that Jimenez would show up, and I didn't think it would be this early, but he's got a shot to make an impact on this bullpen. Popped up foul, back out of play.
95-mile-per-hour fastball there thrown by Jimenez.
He is an imposing figure, to be sure. 6'3", 220 out of Bayamon, Puerto Rico.
He got some valuable experience during the course of spring training. He pitched for the World Baseball Classic Puerto Rican team. Pitched 3 innings, did not give up a run.
Here's the 1-2. High fly ball, left field. It's going to be playable. Matuk is under it. And one gone. What do you got here, Rod? 3 things to know about Joe Jimenez.
He came to the Tigers at the tender age of 18. Tigers minor league pitcher of the year in 15 and 16. So you knew it was a matter of time before the Tigers had a chance to take a look at Jimenez. And we talked about the fact that he was on the Puerto Rican team pitching to Yadier Molina, the Puerto Rican squad.
Well, you never want to be down in a ball game 11-4 late, but this is the perfect opportunity to get Jimenez an inning here.
Yeah, nice opportunity for a young guy making his major league debut to cut his teeth.
Eddie Rosario, the batter.
They were teammates just a couple of weeks ago.
Good point. Team Puerto Rico. Fouled back out of play, 1-1. Joe Jimenez.
Jimenez has still got a little bit of that blonde streak in his hair. All the Puerto Rican guys dyed their hair blonde during the World Baseball Classic.
Swing and a miss.
Not only did all the players, Mario, dye their hair blonde during the course of the World Baseball Classic, but all the kids in Puerto Rico dyed their hair blonde. As a matter of fact, they couldn't find any blonde dye in Puerto Rico during the World Baseball Classic. Every store sold out of it. That's how much they got behind their team.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Jimenez successful in 30 of 31 save opportunities between A-ball, AA, AAA.
We'll get a chance to see the shortstop here in a couple of, well, tomorrow. That World Baseball Classic Puerto Rican team as well, Francisco Lindor.
Oh, he can play.
Oh my goodness, he's off to a good start too.
Popped up. Who wants it? Iglesias. And 2 up, 2 down for Jimenez.
Here's our call, Sam. Call of the game. We're going to give it to Brad Ausmus here today. The call to bring Joe Jimenez into the contest. Get his feet wet. 7-run spread, 9th inning.
Jimenez also has participated in the Futures game.
A couple of times.
A couple of times, yeah. Representing the Tigers organization. Here's Byron Buxton. Strike 1 on Buxton. Now the 0-1 pitch. Buxton fouls it back out of play, 0-2.
Jimenez has got a little deception in his delivery. And it kind of turns his back to the hitter. You can see the number on his back. Hides the baseball very well. And then all of a sudden, here comes 95, 96, 97 with the fastball. He's big boy, too.
Oh, he is.
As my mama would say, he's big boned.
Here's the 0-2. Spun one up there, but missed with 1 and 2. That slider's still developing, as is the changeup, but that fastball mid to upper 90s is big league ready. Swing and a miss, and he wiped him out with one there. A 1-2-3 inning in the big league debut of Joe Jimenez. Nicely done.
Bottom of the ninth inning, 11-4, all Minnesota here today. Joe Jimenez just completed his first major league inning, and it was pretty good. 1-2-3 frame, including a strikeout, so that's out of the way for the youngster. Meanwhile, Haley trying to finish this one off. He would get a save here if he's able to finish it off.
Yeah, he's thrown 49 pitches, so he's gotten a chance to get stretched out quite a bit here this afternoon. And taking over for Phil Hughes, who started the game for Minnesota.
Tigers have McCann to start things off here in the ninth. He'll line one to left field, but right at Rosario. One pitch, one out.
Every time the Tigers have made some solid contact, it seems like it's gone right at one of the defenders on the Minnesota side.
Jimenez now have a little conversation with a couple of his teammates, including Michael Fulmer. Here is Jacoby Jones. Jones a single, a walk, and a strikeout. There's the strike. Brian Dozier, by the way, is out of the game now, and Danny Santana takes over at second.
Yeah, super utility man, Danny Santana. He can play second, short, third, all three outfield positions as well, and play them all adequately.
1-2 on Jones. Turning point in this game was the 5-run sixth, which busted it wide open.
Yeah, a lot of crooked numbers up there today on the Minnesota side. 3 in the 5th, 5 in the 6th.
Here's the 1-2.
And coming into play today, the Tigers had beaten the Minnesota Twins 17 of their last 21 meetings.
Ooh.
So Minnesota was due.
They scored in every inning from the 3rd through the 6th. But I think you hit the nail on the head. They didn't kind of roll over here. They fell behind early 2-0, but they stayed with it. Finally got to Zimmerman. Quite a few walks in this game for Tigers pitching.
They also had some quality at bats again against Sanchez.
Two on Jones. Iglesias on deck. Just missed the outside corner. Haley thought he had it. 3-2 now on Jacoby. Twins have made good use of their 11 hits, 11 runs on 11 hits. Drill toward right center field. That's going to get down. It's going to be extra bases. Jones on the run. He's going to hit the bag at second and try for 3. No throw. It is a triple for Jacoby Jones.
I believe that's the first career triple for Jacoby Jones.
It is indeed.
Nice swing here. It's a four-seam fastball. It's down, but look at him stay down and whistle this ball the opposite way. And as soon as he hits it, the youngster knows he's got at least 2. And so he gets on his horse and he gets to second base, and then he makes the decision that he can get over the third base and get his first triple of the season and his career.
That'll bring Iglesias up there. Ball 1 high. Good day for Iglesias. RBI double and a single. Jacoby Jones gotten you 5 points.
Yeah, he's had a good day. Yeah, I had a feeling that he would do something special today.
Jimenez out there to chat with Haley, who now is about to throw his 60th pitch in relief. Therefore, Michael Tonkin starting to warm up. Just in case he is needed here. Here's the 2-0 in there. 2-1 on Iglesias. Little looper in a shallow center field. Base hit. That'll get a run in. Jones will score, and Iglesias with his 3rd hit of the game.
And Paul Molitor is waiting for Tonkin to get hot. I think Haley. And maybe at the end of the rope. Neil Allen, the pitching coach, just went back to the telephone to see whether Tonkin is ready or not.
That'll bring him Romine, so Haley will stay in for at least one more batter. And Romine takes the ball high. 1 out, triple by Jones, single by Iglesias. Two and 0. This has got to be his last batter, don't you think?
Yeah, if he loses Romine, this probably will be the last batter. They're hoping to try to get him through 9 without getting anybody else up in the bullpen, but that's not going to be the case.
High fly ball into shallow center for Buxton. 2 gone.
And Joe Jimenez made his major league debut here in the top half of the 9th inning, and he looked awfully good. He showed the fastball that got up to 96. He showed a usable breaking ball, and he retired the Minnesota Twins in order. A fly out to left field, a lazy pop-up in the infield, and he also had a strikeout of Byron Buxton on a really nice breaking pitch, the pitch that has really been developing for him the last couple years. Handshakes.
Nice to see a good start by Joe Jimenez. There's Castellanos with 2 outs. In for a strike. Nicholas Hope for 4 hit the ball hard to center field his last time up. Left field in the 6th inning. Now 0-2. Rally Caps, they're not giving up. Here's the 0-2. Nick takes outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Machado on deck. Nick has put the ball in the air 3 times in the ball game today. Grounded out in the 3rd. Laid off, 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Haley now approaching 70 pitches. In relief This will be his 69th. Two and two, the count stays. Haley came on in the 6th, got the final out. He's been in the game since. Now trying to wrap it up. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and that'll end the ball game. Tigers going to run in the 9th. Now we send you to the Call Sam Studios. John Keating standing by with Tigers Live postgame.
All right, Mario, lots of tough stories to talk about on Tigers Live, including Jordan Zimmerman struggling to find the strike zone. One of the great stories is that Miggy found the seats for the first time this season. Phil Hughes bedeviled the Tigers with that changeup that is a work in progress, and you'll hear from Tiger skipper Brad Ausmus on the heels of a 5-2 homestand. Tigers Live with Simo and myself coming up in just a couple of moments on Fox Sports Detroit.